Hey, you want to drag, huh? Rev it up.
Action you've never seen races across your screen as you thrill to a new dimension in picture making. Carnival of Souls. This is the shocking story of a who crawled from the river to race through a nightmare, walking a tightrope between heaven and hell. From the unreal, she crashes through to reality. But try as she will to lead a normal life, she is torn from her goal. There's no privacy in a life she's ever watched, tormented. Either it's her neighbor, desirous of her physically, watching her with his leering eye, or it's the evil eye of the man who taunts her, the man who wants her. From the bottom of the river they come. They reach for her. They demand that she dance with them at the Carnival of Souls. She is a girl driven mad by the relentless forces of the beyond. He will not relent as he comes for her again and again. She whirls between the real and the unreal, trying to cling to life.
I like being with you, really I do. I don't want to be alone tonight. I want to be near you.
Honey, you don't want to go in there all by yourself, do you?
But she must watch herself in death. She must dance at the Carnival of Souls held just for her. For they have come for her for the last time, claiming her as one of their own. Carnival of Souls arouses such emotion that the management has been forced to state positively no refunds. Carnival of Souls is the shocker of all time, guaranteed to sweep you into a new dimension of picture making. You can't afford to miss Carnival of Souls.
switch you to the state capitol, where His Excellency, the Governor, is speaking from the Executive Mansion.
Further, I have, in conjunction with the federal government, declared this state to be a disaster area.
I was sent to keep you here until they come.
To kill me.
Vampires, alive among the lifeless, that make the night hideous with their inhuman cravings. If they are not destroyed in the flaming pits of hellfire, or staked to the ground in the light of the sun, will the unbelievable become real? A world of inanimate zombies by day, irresistible, horrifying attackers by night. Can a zombie woman's hunger for love repopulate the earth?
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening, everybody.
How are we doing tonight, Evan?
I am feeling fresh. I don't know about you. I'm feeling pretty fly right now.
Pretty fresh. Pretty logoed out right now. Oh, what is this? Oh, the poll on the screen. I noticed nobody's voted. But yeah, you might notice we're both looking a little rocking the logo tonight, courtesy of our very good friend Alana, aka the Spectral Seamstress. So, and why are we decked out? We're celebrating tonight. Tonight's a huge celebration. Cause it's season 13. We made it. Ooh. Season 13, and really, it's our 3-year anniversary.
It is.
It is.
That's it. We've been doing this. We've been watching movies for 3 whole years now.
3 years. Can you believe it?
Starting the 4th. Right?
This will be our 4th year. We're very excited. It's been a long time coming. But yeah, we're happy to celebrate in our wares tonight, which again, and hold on, I rearranged some of my things here. So I'm like trying to make sure that I can find the little graphic that I have here. Let's see, there it is. Hold on. Bam. Spectral Seamstress. There she is. Making these awesome shirts for us.
I feel so official
tonight, right?
We're not. This isn't just, hanging out with watching movies at my friend's
now
house.
we're
a real. We're official. It's a real show.
We mean business now. We're serious now that we got the shirts on. So now you know we're officially official. And so yeah, I mean it's freaking awesome. Alana makes a lot of cool shirts. I think we're only hearing the music that loud. I don't think they're hearing it on. But you can find Alana's website right here, thespectralseamstress.com. She makes a lot of earrings and like shawls and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you need anything spooky, any spooky clothing or attire or accessories, check out Alana's website, the Spectral Seamstress. She's responsible for us being decked out tonight. So we're very thankful.
Yeah, thank you, Alana.
Thank you, Alana. And yes, Kathy said I want a shirt. Well, you may have a chance to get one. I'm obviously the poll's not working quite right. So this giveaway that we're gonna do is kind of supposed to work the same way. So will it work?
Did he say it? Did he give it away?
I don't know. But we are gonna do a giveaway for a shirt. Custom. It'll be custom size. But it'll have a logo on it. It'll be black. And yeah, I mean we're celebrating season 13. It's a big deal. So we want to give back to you guys. We wanna do something special. So let's see. So I'm gonna start the giveaway, and I think I took the timer off.
Is Factula also running the giveaway?
Factula is, but Factula may, he's having trouble with the poll. So if the giveaway doesn't work, we'll try something else. But we will announce the winner of the giveaway.
It's not a getaway.
Not a getaway. The giveaway. No.
A trip to Hawaii.
Not a Yeah, please. No, do not. No, that is not. Do not misunderstand. No, giveaway. So I'm going to try to start that. And I think I took the timer off, and we're going to have it. We're going to reveal it at the end of the episode. And so you gotta be here if you want the shirt.
Stick around.
So you gotta stick around. So we're gonna start that. And I don't know if it'll work.
Or you just gotta set an alarm and go do something else.
We'll see if it works. We're trying. We gotta. Oh yeah, there it is. Bam. So I don't know if that'll work, but good luck. So that's it. But yes, we're celebrating tonight. It's a special day. Obviously, it's our anniversary. It's also my birthday.
Yeah.
So thank you. I saw in the chat some happy birthdays. So thank you everybody out there. Much appreciation for that. Again, it's a great way to kick off the season, right? On my birthday.
On his birthday.
Give me a good one, Evan. Give me a good on my birthday.
On my birthday.
That's an Evan class. That's an Evan special right there. And it is on my birthday. So I figured,
you only get to use that one once a year.
You do. And speaking of, something you only get one shot at. Tonight, I mean, obviously, I like to start off every new year of the show with a important movie, a movie that's special to me, a big movie. And so I decided, I've been sitting on the movie that we're going to watch tonight, which you can see there.
Spoiler alert.
You already know what we're watching tonight.
It's a big one.
This is a big one. This is the biggest public domain horror movie that we're going to watch on the show. There's a reason that we waited 3 full years to watch this.
We've been drilling down through the public domain. We hit the mother lode.
We really did. And that's the thing. To get to the mother lode, you have to get through a lot of other varying kind of, results, layers before you get
sediments, some detritus.
Right. It takes a while to really get to the cream of the crop, but you can appreciate it more now that we've gone through this, and especially Evan has gone through this 3-year journey through the hellscape that is public domain horror movies.
We've watched all the other ones. Tonight, let's watch a good one.
Let's actually, now that we've suffered through, no, I mean, and obviously we're watching Night of the Living Dead, which this is a movie that it's had a profound effect on me, but and I told Evan, I can't like oversell this movie enough. I have overhyped some movies on this show, as Evan can attest. I have overhyped some movies, but the critics back me up on this one. This one is actually, and not just the critics, but horror movie fans. I mean, this is an immortal classic. So, and again, what is it? It's a regional horror film out of Pennsylvania, which we've seen enough regional horror films to have a base, right? So we figured, and we've seen some regional horror films where they're just really scraping the bottom of the barrel. This was a team effort here. And
remind me, what year are we looking at?
This is 1968, and this is, I mean, I'm sure most people know, it's a zombie movie. It's the first kind of modern interpretation of the zombie movie. Exactly. Seriously, like the zombie movie.
Although they're not, are they zombies in this?
I'll get more into that later. We'll talk about it. That's the fun thing. I've got an extra page of facts tonight. So
the man's done his homework.
Look out. Because the story behind this movie, like all these little stories and just all the things that it took to get this movie made, that just kind of things just fell into place. Whereas we've talked about some regional horror films like Manos, like even, I don't know if you want to call Teenagers from Outer Space regional, but just these things where it was rough going to some degrees, and it wasn't easy, but these people hustled. Well, this was just a case where everybody was hustling to the point that like they got this incredible movie. But we'll get into all of it tonight. Obviously it's iconic, it's legendary, really did change horror movie history, and we'll get into it. It's been a big influence. And of course, as always, Evan brings us a delicious cocktail to pair with the evening's film and a little segment which he calls
What Were You Drinking?
And what are we going to be drinking tonight, Evan?
So tonight felt like a little bit of a puzzle, I thought. It's we have such a big night. I didn't want to just phone this one in. My first thought was we'll do a spin on the zombie. And we've had a couple of those on the show already. But I thought, well, first, and to William's point, zombie might not exactly be appropriate for this movie. So I thought, we can maybe get a little more creative. And what I've come up with is a sour forward cocktail that I'm calling the Bite of the Living Dead.
Ooh.
So my idea here was just something that's just gonna bite back at you, something kind of nice and sour. But we've had some sour stuff on the show before, and it's kind of easy. Like you can go too far. I don't know if you remember the time when we had a drink that was basically just lemon juice.
It sounds familiar.
That happened at some point. So, you don't want to go that far. But if you like to make your own Bite of the Living Dead, you'll need tequila, sour apple, pucker, ginger beer, and a few Sour Patch Kids. We're just gonna throw in as a garnish. So I'm gonna shake this up real quick.
Hell yeah!
We're gonna keep the show
very nice.
moving.
And I mean, and I have realized I haven't said this yet, but welcome everybody out there. Sears, Alana, Wayne, Kathy. Come on, I know I'm missing some people. William. Yeah, I mean, everybody in the chat, what's up? You guys are, again, why we're here at season 13. You guys made last year amazing. And so now, hey, we're starting off the journey of year 4 together. So we're happy, really, really happy to have everybody here, kind of, you know, journeying along with us. And again, as watching this most important film, which, I mean, it's always nice to have a cocktail that when the movie has bite and the cocktail has bite, you know, you're in for a good time. And this movie, if you haven't seen this movie tonight, oh my God, like, you are in for a treat. Oh, this, and speaking of in for a treat, look at this.
Yeah,
I mean, my camera does not
tonight.
do this
We got
justice.
the mad scientist.
I
cooking.
love how this looks.
I don't know if you can
Look
see
at
that at home. This is bubbling.
It is bubbling, fizzing. It is. It just needs a little dry ice
We've got
in it to really
drowned
get some...
ghouls. Is there any water in tonight's movie? I've seen it before, but I can't remember.
No, and there's a good reason why,
Okay,
and
we'll
I'll
talk
tell
about
you tonight. I've got a lot of cool facts.
All right, well, let's give this a try. This is the Bite of the Living Dead.
Cheers.
Cheers. Season 13.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good. It's pretty smooth for a bite, I gotta
Yeah, you
say.
don't. No, it's definitely. I think it's kind of coming in a little bit after, but like, you don't get the tequila
No.
too much. Like, you definitely don't, which is always dangerous. You know,
It might be hiding in the bottom. You know, the ginger beer you kind of just pour on
True.
top.
It's gonna get soaked up in the gummies.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
So there's the bite. You got a bite for later.
Oh God, yeah, that's gonna be an interesting bite. I mean, it wouldn't be my birthday without a little tequila, would it? An apple pucker. This is. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever had apple.
Well, neither
pucker
had I actually until we went out to eat the other weekend, and I sometimes when I'll like go to places, I'll just steal their cocktail menu. I'll just like take a picture of it just to try to get ideas for stuff. So
Nice.
and you know, just you know, before anybody says anything, I did not steal this recipe, but.
He has to clarify.
Just to
He's got to clarify.
But I saw that, and like I feel like I've maybe seen apple pucker in the store before, but I never really never tried it or stopped and gotten any or anything. But I saw it in one of those one of those drinks, and I thought, okay, check this out.
I mean, it's one you hear about a lot, but I've certainly never indulged. But it's all mixed very well here. Nothing's too. It's all very. I mean, again, Evan's the maestro of. I don't know. He's the schlock maestro of cocktails.
Have we made
I don't
by
know.
now?
God, you've done one for almost every movie, so over 100 cocktails that Evan's made. So we should give it up for Evan too. I mean, my gosh, like. Every time, gotta come up with a. Yeah, I don't have my. Hold on, no, I don't even remember which button it is. I'm afraid to push it, so I won't even do it. But no, we. I mean, really, I love the "What Were You Drinking" segment because it's always nice to have something unique to go along with what we're watching.
Good to have something to sip.
Yeah, it is, and not just swill. Right? Should I have covered that logo up? There we go. Had my hand over it the whole time. But yeah, I mean, we're about to get into this, and again, this is it's funny because last season we had one movie that I had seen before, and the rest whereas when we started this show, I had seen every movie, and we got to the point where I had not seen any of the movies. And again, like I said, I wanted to go with a movie that was important to me to kick off the season, and since it was on my birthday. But this one is special because this is the second movie that scared the hell out of me, like to the point where I was too afraid to watch the movie.
Okay.
And the first was Blair Witch, because I saw that when I was too young. I was 5.
When you're do you remember like just being scared as a kid? Like I feel like whenever I got really scared, I would be afraid to look out the window because I would be afraid like whatever I'm afraid of, I'm gonna look out the window and it's gonna be there.
I was more just afraid that something could come like right around the corner.
Okay,
like,
you think it's all right? It's already there.
Yeah, my biggest fear was a fucking werewolf just like in my house, just fucking running right at me through the doorway. Like, what am I gonna do? I can't go anywhere. Werewolf phobia over here. But no. So like, yeah, I mean, this one, and I think a lot of people, if you've seen this before, everybody's got their, like, especially if you saw it when you were young and you were really locked in on it, it made a huge impression on you because there's a sense of realism that comes along with it. And that's because it's a film that was shot regionally in rural Pennsylvania. So if you're from a rural area, like Evan and I are, there's a lot of imagery in this movie that
it hits.
You drive around and you see a cemetery, like the cemetery we're going to see in the opening scene. There's one 5 minutes down the road, and every time we drive by it, I was like, I know this isn't that cemetery.
You see a tree everywhere you look. There's trees.
It's like, could be. You know, I mean, this was one that I saw for the first time when I was like 6 or 7, because I brought this up before, but my parents, or I guess Santa. Hope no kids are watching. When my parents bought me for
Can
Christmas.
kids watch this show?
I hope not. Not well.
What
this
are we rated?
We'll talk about this movie.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a whole thing. But I was 6 or 7, and for Christmas I got this VHS box set of 5 public domain horror movies.
Classics.
Classics. And you know, we've seen 3 of the movies in here. Tonight will be the 4th. And you know, I'll go ahead and I'll pull it out because I always do like to show off the. I can't show you the back though because, and I didn't notice this until later, but the picture on the back is literally a spoiler for the end of the film.
Oh.
So I cannot show you the back of this case, but I'll show you the front. I'll show you the side.
Well, thanks for honoring no spoilers on this movie from the 60s.
I mean, if you know about this movie, I mean, it's a movie about revolution, and it's a radical movie, but at the same time, it's also not even trying to it doesn't draw attention to itself about the fact that it's being so radical. Like, it is just going.
It's casual.
It's just going. It's insane. So, this movie, I think I got through the first half of it and then just couldn't watch it anymore, and was like, literally had nightmares about, you know, zombies. And that was the thing, just having nightmares about this stuff. And I had people tell me afterward what happened, and even in my mind, what I envisioned was not even. But that's the thing, and it is such a unique movie, and it's just, I mean, again, there's so much to appreciate here. It's like if you've only seen it like once or twice, and you just think of it as a cheesy B horror movie, there's like so much more to it than that. So, we're very excited to get into this. And again, I'll try to give you, you know, I mean, there's so many facts to get into, but I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get to the movie. So, anything else before we get into it, Evan?
So what if you looked out the window and there was the werewolf?
Oh, well then I wouldn't know what to do.
What if the werewolf charges you down the hallway, but it's not a werewolf, it's a window?
I would, you know. I mean, at that point, you just got to jump through it, right? You just got to charge into it. Yeah.
Well, let's charge into this movie.
I mean, I'm very excited for this. So, without further ado, the movie we've been waiting 3 years to show on this program, from 1968, Night of the Living Dead, right now. Oh my god, dude, it's so freaking crazy. So Image 10, basically 10 people that were the brains and the brawn behind this movie. Like the director, producer, writer, some of the actors, makeup people, the core 10 are image 10. This is why it's public domain, because there's no copyright symbol right here. This is why.
Gotcha.
Filmmakers were so upset. Welcome, Speed Bump. Yeah, so the latent image was the director George Romero's company. His industrial film company and Hardman Associates, another industrial film company, were basically the driving forces behind this movie. Because they were just industrial filmmakers who decided, hey, we could make a horror movie better than half the things out there right now.
Have you ever been to Pennsylvania? It's pretty scary.
It's terrifying. Pittsburgh, terrifying. I mean, yeah, there was a cemetery that kind of had an entrance like that, and it just scared me so bad driving by it. It's not real, but...
But what if?
I don't know. And Russ Striner, we're about to see here, is the main actor here in this scene.
They ought to make the day the time changes, the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good
Daylight
extra
savings
daylight
time
does
this
us.
weekend.
Now,
We
still got a
timed this
3-hour
movie just
drive
right.
back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, you know that she can't. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
Test. We're back on? Oh. Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problem.
Shrug. One of my favorite horror movie tropes.
There's nothing wrong with the radio. Must have been the station.
Which row is it in?
Love his tie.
I know the actor still has that tie to this day. He wears it to like conventions and things. I mean, this first sequence alone is what scared the shit out of me.
Oh, look, I already lost an hour's sleep on the time change.
I think you complain just to hear yourself talk. There it is.
Yeah. Except Sears, they're brother and sister, so let's keep it clean, okay?
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We come out here and the one from last year's gone.
Well, the flowers die, and the caretaker or somebody takes them away.
The zombies
a little
got 'em.
spit and polish, you can clean this up.
Excuse me.
Sell it next year. Wonder how many times we bought the same one. Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh? Hey, I mean praying's for church, huh? Come on.
I haven't seen you in church lately.
Well, there's not much sense in my going to church.
With gloves like these.
Do you remember one time when we were small, we were out here? It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa got all excited, and he shook his fist at me, and he said, "Boy, you'll be damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Well, you used to really be scared here.
Johnny.
Hey, you're still afraid.
Stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Can you guess who that's an impression
You're
of?
ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're
BK.
coming for you. Look,
You know, Monster
one of them
Mash kind
now.
of popularized that Boris
He'll hear you.
Karloff
Right.
talks
Here he
like
comes now.
this.
I'm getting out of here.
Johnny.
The Burger King.
Oh! No! No! Johnny! Help me!
That would be a good call, Alana.
It's a killing. Oh, we're about to get to the last scene of the title sequence. I mean, this just scared the shit out of me, honestly. The way because the actor here, Bill Hines, is just so, and It's
he's
so
the
real.
first zombie really in our modern conception of it. He was, he's it.
That's it.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
We did it. All the films in the title sequence. Mission accomplished. Took us 3 years. So this right here, they were borrowing the car from the guy who played Johnny's mother. She wrecked it, and then they were like, "Oh, well, let's work that into." And that's how
It was
this
on
whole
purpose.
movie basically works. A lot of it was just happenstance. And I mean, obviously here they're in the back of a car, but there's so much movement, and then great shots like that. Him wandering through the brush. So that gas pump was not nailed or screwed down the first time they filmed it. She almost fell in the camera. Which George Romero, the director, was also, he's the one operating the camera the whole time. He shot the whole thing himself. So all these canted angles, he's holding, it's all handheld basically. Except for like, some of that. Every time it's moving, it's him. It's George holding the camera. James, welcome James. So this was a abandoned farmhouse that was going to be demolished, and they were able to rent it for the film. But it was completely empty. So all this was brought in. It was furnished by just everybody grabbing stuff from their closets or things they were using, or going to Goodwill. Literally, they furnished a lot of the house with just stuff from Goodwill. But it looks like a lived-in farmhouse. But it was just, and they were some of them were living there while the film was being shot. And to answer your question earlier, the reason you won't see water is because this farmhouse had no running water in it. There was a stream out back that they had to, like, either go get water out of and heat up the water, or they said one of their production director, Vince, would just go take a bath in the creek. And again, a lot of the crew members have on-screen roles. We'll see them later in the film. Barbara.
Did they find all these like animal skins and deer heads at Goodwill? Or was somebody
They're in rural Pennsylvania. There are a lot of
that's all they have at the Goodwill.
Evan, you'll see later in the movie why. Like, you'll see. Thomas in the house. Welcome, Thomas. So George Romero made that himself.
Wow.
All right.
Don't worry about him. I can handle him. Probably be a lot more of them as soon as they find out about us. The truck is out of gas. This pump out here is locked. Is there a key? We can try to get out here if we can get some gas. Is there a key? I suppose you've tried this.
Oh, antlers.
Do you live here? Jesus. We've got to get out of here. We have to get to where there's some other people. Maybe we better take some food. I'll see if I can find some food.
And do you know what the blood here is made out of?
Blood.
Do you want to take a crack at it?
I just did. What's it made of?
Well, so fans of Psycho will know that Hitchcock used chocolate syrup for the blood scene. So this is what they use here. Can you guess what brand?
What's happening?
Come on, Evan.
Is it Bosco?
It is Bosco.
Happening.
Congratulations.
It's the film enhancer.
It enhances everything. We know that.
Two of them.
Good old Bosco.
Fools hate cold.
There are two of them out there. Have you seen any more around here? I can take care of those two.
I
I know you're afraid, but we have
I
to.
don't know!
My cocktail's getting sweeter, I feel like, as I get.
We're getting down into the candy.
I'm kind of going slow. Honestly. Here we go. So there's always like layers, you know. George Romero's always got like a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And he's just so close with that camera. That's why I think everything feels so. This is the co-writer right here, John Russo.
Fun fact, he got concussed and they just decided to put it in the movie.
Oh yeah, well you'll see he's about to get even more concussed. It's true a lot. Now that'll give you a concussion right there. Tire iron right in the head. Oof. Yeah, that's the thing. The blood, the gore. We haven't even gotten to the crazy score in this freaking movie. Oh, dude, that's the thing. That is what was so scary about this, is that just keep, like you said, they just keep coming. Every time you turn around, there's more and more and more, and that is what's absolutely terrifying. Can't stop them.
Here now. Don't look at it.
Like all the shadows that you're seeing, all of that, they like had to rig up like sheets and C-stands and stuff to make the shadows look like that. You know, like they put a lot of effort with the lighting, with the contrast to give this like a really a stark look. It's kind of reminiscent of, I mean, it's not German expressionism, but it's just the principles of chiaroscuro and angles.
Very strange.
Yeah, a lot of practical effects are where it's at. And that's the thing, this whole movie, everybody chipped in. And the two main makeup people we will actually see on screen. But not now, but
later. Get some more lights on in this house.
So the actor here is Dwayne Jones, and I mean, kills it, man, as Ben. I don't even know if he's said his name yet, but Ben. Oh, Ben. And obviously much has been said about, did they write this, you know, knowing that they were going to cast a black guy, or did that change anything with the movie? They wrote it as just he was a truck driver who was kind of crude, and they didn't specify his race. And then Dwayne auditioned, and they're like, "Hey, this guy's a good actor. He's got to be it."
But we have to try to board the house up together.
They said, "You know what? Let's not change the script. Let's just leave it how it is."
We'll be all right here. We'll be all right here until someone comes to rescue us. But we'll have to work together. You'll have to help me. Now, I want you to go in and get some wood so I can board the place up. Do you understand?
Why don't they just drive away in his truck?
Okay.
Because it's out of gas. That's why he's like, well, he was...
Because she knocked over the gas.
Yeah. Exactly.
It all comes together.
It all connects. Apparently they built, like, Vince, the production director, built that fireplace. Like, that wasn't really in the house. Oh, Thomas, it's good here. I hope you're doing okay. I mean, Alana, some documentaries I watched noted that the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner came out the year before this, and that was what a lot of mainstream, especially white audiences, were kind of seeing in terms of representations of black leads. These very kind of like Sidney Poitier kind of got put in these roles where he's these very like kind of just this like sterile kind of, you know, happy-go-lucky protagonist who everything worked out for. And yeah, I mean, in this case it was like, you know, but that was the thing. They were like, let's not change the script to reflect his race. Let's just, you know, and Romero kind of regretted that later. He's like, maybe we should have said touched on it a little bit. And, you know, I think it helped them avoid cliches. You know, I think that's what this movie does best, is it really just kind of steers clear. And especially in the second half. And they did rewrite, like, so there's a lot of improv in this movie. I don't know if you, but like, you're all are actually about to see it here. Both these characters are going to kind of have a little monologue, and it's all improv because they just kind of gave them basic scenarios because they were writing as they were shooting. Like Romero had already come up with the story and everything, but they didn't finish the script, so they were kind of finishing it as they were.
No, that's wrong.
But Dwayne like rewrote his dialogue because he was a really educated guy, and Romero said a very sensitive guy.
This room looks pretty secure.
He felt bad about doing anything violent, which we will see him do.
If we have to, we can run in here and board up the doors.
Himself here in a second. That he did not feel good about.
Won't be long for those things to be back pounding their way in here. They're afraid now. They're afraid of fire. I found that out.
I mean, at an old farmhouse, you know how much wood is just lying around? Come on.
You know a place back down the road called Beekman's? Beekman's Diner? Anyhow, that's where I found that truck I have out there. There's a radio in the truck. I had jumped in to listen to it when a big gasoline truck came screaming right across the road with there must have been 10, 15 of those things chasing after it, grabbing and holding on. Now, I didn't see them at first. I could just see that the truck was moving in a funny way. And those things were catching up to it. The truck went right across the road. Slammed on my brakes to keep from hitting it myself. It went right through the guardrail. I guess the driver must have cut off the road into that gas station by Beekman's Diner. It went right through the billboard, ripped over a gas pump, and never stopped moving. By now, it was like a moving bonfire. Didn't know if the truck was going to explode or what. Could still hear the man screaming. This thing is just backing away from it. I looked back at the diner to see if there was anyone there who could help me. It was when I noticed that the entire place had been encircled. There wasn't a sign of life left except... By now there were no more screams. I realized that I was alone with 50 or 60 of those things, just standing there, staring at me. I started to drive. I just plowed right through them. They didn't move, they didn't run or just stood there staring at me. Just wanted to crush them. They scattered through the air like bugs.
We were riding in the cemetery, Johnny and me. Johnny. We came to put a wreath on my father's grave. Johnny, and he said, "Can I have some candy, Barbara?" We didn't have any. And, oh, it's hot in here. Hot.
That's a good question.
And he said,
I
it's
also
late.
wanted that, Alana.
Why did we start so
Welcome,
late?
Ty. Welcome.
And I said, Johnny, if you'd gotten up earlier, we wouldn't be late. Johnny asked me if I were afraid. And I said, I'm not afraid, Johnny. And then this man started walking up the road. He came slowly, and Johnny kept teasing me and saying, "He's coming to get you, Barbara." And I laughed at him and said, "Johnny, stop it." And then Johnny ran away. And I went up to this man, and I was going to apologize.
Why don't you just keep calm?
And I looked up, and I said, "Goody." And he grabbed me. He grabbed me, and he ripped at me. He held me, and he ripped at my clothes.
I think you should just calm down.
Oh, I screamed, "Johnny! Johnny, help me! Oh, help me!" And he wouldn't let me go. He ripped. And then Johnny came and he ran and he fought this man. And I got so afraid. I ran. And Johnny didn't come. We have to wait for Johnny. Maybe we better go out and get him. We have to go out and get Johnny. He's out there. Please, don't you hear me? We've got to go out and get him. Please! We have got to go get Johnny! Please help me! Please!
Don't you know what's going on out there? This is no Sunday school picnic.
Don't you understand? My brother is alone!
Your brother is dead.
No! My brother is not dead! Oh.
The actor Dwayne was really upset about having to do that. He was between that and a thing he has to do later. He was like worried how audiences would react. He was worried that maybe he was being exploited. And then they shot that scene of him doing the monologue, and he realized, oh, like these guys are all rooting for me. This is nobody's like trying to exploit me or anything like that. And that is going to take us to our first break. This is a long, for our show, relatively long movie. So that's the first third of Night of the Living Dead. A lot going on. What do we think so far, Evan?
Man, like, I've seen this one before, but it's been a while. I feel like I'm kind of watching it with fresh eyes. I forgot how good this movie is.
I mean, it's not... the thing is, because it's public domain, it gets put in a box, as all public domain movies do. It's public domain, so it must not be good. And it's like, no, there are plenty of good movies in the public domain. Don't let that misconception, cloud you. But that, I didn't realize it until like the third or fourth or fifth time watching it. And then, it was really... as I got older and kept watching that, I realized, oh, well, it's just there's a reason I keep coming back to it. It's just a good movie.
The opening, it just feels so modern.
Right.
The way they kind of tease the monster, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And these angle, the cinematography is crazy in this. I
mean, that was what I never knew or that I didn't pay attention to until later. And then when I found out that it was the director, George Romero, director, editor, co-writer, and cinematographer and camera operator. I mean, when I realized, oh, it's just this one guy shooting this, and I can see some visual, motifs. There's just the way that he has layers, the way that he just emphasizes certain bits of imagery, and just the starkness of the photography. I mean, again, he was a skilled industrial filmmaker along with the co-writer John Russo. They were all part of this company, Latent Image.
Yeah, the writing's really nothing to sneeze at either.
No.
You know what I really appreciate? If you're making a movie and you have some characters that you need to put in a graveyard, there's a million ways you could do that, but I like what they've set up there in the beginning, where they're just complaining about
it's so innocuous, a brother and sister arguing with each other. Right?
It feels real.
Just scared. And that's the thing, my dad was like, I got a story for you about the first time I did. And he was 16. He went and saw it at it was like a late night showing. And, he said he didn't know if he was influenced by something or it was just the movie was that scary. But he said that opening sequence scared him so bad because it felt so real. And that's always what I felt that opening sequence felt so real.
It just builds and builds, and when you get to that car, that's pretty moving. It's pretty terrifying.
Well, the idea of being trapped in a car and somebody breaking inside is it could happen to anybody at any time. So the fact that that's how we're getting and you got to think again, it's kind of maybe hard right now to just think of horror movies that we've seen from something like The Terror from 1963, Dementia 13, 1963, Spider Baby 1964. Those are
they're good in their own right.
They're good in their own right, but they're kind of campy. They're kind of, they're very funny, or they're, things kind of work out in some weird way, or, But it's not just that everything happening is bad and gets worse, but that is this movie. It starts bad and it gets worse. And again, that was the co-writer, John Russo, said it should be like a roller coaster, and they should just, and that's kind of how it feels. And for our pre-roll, we came in with a trailer from The Last Man on Earth based on Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, which was a inspiration for Romero, because when they decided they wanted to make a movie, do you see that?
Okay, I get it. I see that. Yeah.
Which you read I Am Legend.
I love I Am Legend.
So
it's a really cool story.
Well, he saw it. I don't know if he saw I Am Legend as a story about revolution, but like he read I Am Legend and realized this idea of like the dead coming back to life, or just this idea of like all these infected people versus these normal people, like that you could do a story about revolution. So like when they decided they wanted to make a movie, Romero, first they were pitching like a drama, like a Bergman-esque, like European style drama. And then a lot of people investors didn't bite. And so then they were like, all right, well, horror movies sell. So Romero had this short story sitting around about the dead coming back to life and a family like having to deal with it. So he just took that and he started kind of writing the script. And it was originally called Monster Flick. And then Romero's story was called Night of Anubis. So for a long time, the title of this was Night of Anubis.
Okay.
Something about Anubis being the Egyptian god. There's some explanation
God of the
for
Dead,
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's some weird thing.
Yeah. So I Am Legend. That's a very like grounded story too.
Yeah.
Which like I like that. I see the immediate connection there. Like it's about like this dude just kind of doing his day to day. Like it's very explains how exactly he is surviving this scenario and all the little minutia of the things he has to do.
Right.
And so that's we've got kind of the same kind of just survival at any cost. Use whatever tools you have, and show your work. So these folks, they're boarding up every opening. They're making like a plan, a contingency.
The beautiful thing about this movie is how, like that in and of itself, yeah, Matheson made a whole story. They made a whole movie out of it. That in and of itself is interesting. This movie, what we'll see when we come back, is they complicate that, right? Like they decide, let's not make it so simple. One guy can get along okay, but let's put a few people together in this very stressful situation.
I mean, yeah, it's a really interesting way to twist it up, because like the other half of that story is like it's everything he has to do to survive, and also he's going insane because he's alone.
Well, and we'll talk more about it later, but George Romero, the director, his big thing later on, especially because if you don't know, he became a big horror director, but his big thing with horror was injecting social commentary, right? And so this was his first movie, and this is, again, they weren't trying to be too blatant with, I mean, it was a story about revolution always. The dead coming back to life. That was about revolution. But again, when they cast a black lead, that didn't become the story. They just said, let's not change anything. But Dwayne Jones had this famous story that he told about being driven home from set one day by his friend, who was a white woman, who she was the one who she worked for Romero, or for the other company, Hardman's Associates, and she was the one who got Dwayne in the film. And so she would drive him home at the end of the day, and Dwayne said that they got chased down by racists in a truck with a tire iron.
Wow.
And so for Dwayne, he said the irony wasn't lost on him that, as we saw in that opening bit, he's like hammering these ghouls with a tire iron in the head. So the thing is, the times that this movie, I mean, some of our viewers will know, like, things were very volatile in the United States in 1967, 1968, and they got worse, and we'll talk more about that later. But I mean, again, this movie was kind of a reflection of just the angst, the anger, the disappointment of the times, the peace, love, hippie stuff was failing, and the Vietnam War was raging, and racism and inequity was really rearing its ugly head. And, so Romero kind of synthesized all that down into this story where he doesn't directly touch on any of that. But many people have taken this scene in the movie or that scene in the movie and tied it back to how it reflects this part of history or that part of history. And that's just the subjective power of movies in general. But we're going to get to our break here. We've got 2 trailers for you because this will be a long show if we don't keep it very long. So, this is, again, the thing about this being a public domain movie is, I mean, it was a huge movie, but there's no way to tell how much money it's really ever made, because so many people have released it unofficially. There's been official sequels, there's been unofficial sequels, there's been unofficial remakes, because people can do whatever, right?
Public domain. But I think there's some confusion kind of over, because I mean, this movie spawned zombies, zombie culture, just zombies as we know it in the modern day, but the offshoots kind of confuse things in terms of what lore you want to follow. So the thing is, the people that are in tonight's movie went on to kind of make offshoots of the movie, and the co-writer of this basically had the title rights to Of the Living Dead, like as a title. Whereas Romero could also go make sequels, but he used Of the Dead for his sequels, which we'll talk about those later. Okay.
We got a whole separate for those. But
we've got like a zombie family tree going.
Dude, I wish I would have made one. Because let me tell you, because there's unofficial ones, no, I'll talk about that later. But so the co-writer of this wrote a story or a novel, I think, called Return of the Living Dead. And then that was going to be made into a movie, but then it went through different hands, and then it just got totally rewritten, and to the point where kind of became its own thing, but it referenced Night of the Living Dead as a movie, with it kind of a meta storyline of, that movie, and you see it in the trailer, that movie, Night of the Living Dead, it really happened. But it's Return of the Living Dead, it combines kind of campy horror comedy with punk music and punk because it's 85, so it's it is very campy, but it's a lot of fun. But it was Russo and actually a couple of the other Image 10, the 10 people that were the original investors, they I guess they got some kind of money from that, but they basically sold kind of the sequel rights. So there's all these Return of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead Part 2, Return of the Living Dead Part 3, totally separate from Romero's sequels, which we'll talk about later. So the first trailer we're going to see is for the Return of the Living Dead. The second trailer, so the ghoul we saw in the beginning, the very first one, an actor named
Ghoul Patient Zero.
Patient Zero. He's an actor named Bill Heinzman. He was later a cinematographer. Actually, for Romero, he shot Romero's movie The Crazies. And he directed a few movies, and the second trailer we're going to see is for a movie that he directed. It's gone by many titles. Flesh Eater, Revenge of the Living Zombies, which is the trailer title, and weirdly, the most weird of all, Zombie Nosh.
Zombie Nosh?
Zombie Nosh. I don't know if Nosh is
Nosh? It's just
what is Nosh?
Movie about people.
Zombie Nosh. But he basically has the exact same look and get up as the ghoul in this movie. It's just the late 80s, so it's really trashy and full of nudity, and it's a badly it was shot in Pennsylvania, kind of much like, but it doesn't have the same people behind it. The quality's very low. You can go out and find it if you want, just if you like Bill Heinzman as a ghoul, because he's the best. Which again, and you brought this up earlier, ghouls, zombies. We'll actually talk about that later. But we've got these two trailers for Return of the Living Dead and for, I'm just gonna call it Flesh Eater because that's the easiest title to say. And then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting middle of Night of the Living Dead. So stick around. We'll be right. Why can I not find the... Hold on. Right back.
Revenge of the living zombies. Just when you thought the dead were buried, they are back in the most shocking horror film of all time. We have spoiled the earth and made it a living hell.
Oh, you bastard!
Bill Heinzman, the ghoul from Night of the Living Dead, returns. Imagine your most horrifying nightmare has come to life. They look like people we know, people we love, but they will eat you alive.
They're gonna come soon, okay?
No one can stop them. They're back. They are hungry.
Kids are not human! I saw one that just never phased them. I shot two in the head. I think they're dead. Garrett, man, you gotta help us. We're coming.
Corpses rising everywhere.
We're gonna head west until we meet up with the group coming from the east with Deputy Gary. What are we looking for? Yeah, Sheriff. What are these things? They're dead things.
You cannot kill someone who is already dead. The most shocking horror film of all times. Revenge of the Living Zombies.
Don't worry, Evan, I turned your mic on. And we are back.
Can you hear me?
Because we all know me. So that was the trailers for The Return of the Living Dead and Flesh Eater, aka Revenge of the Living. It's just a terrible title. And I was telling Evan, Revenge of the Living Dead is the movie that popularized brains for zombies. If anybody's ever heard that old trope and didn't know where it came from, it's Return of the Living Dead. Not from this movie. And again, this is the movie that calls George Romero preferred ghouls.
Yeah, when did zombie really even catch on?
So it's funny because that trailer for The Last Man on Earth, they used the word zombie in that trailer, and that was 1964.
Huh.
And I think Romero may have seen The Last Man on Earth. So it was starting to be bandied about, but again, the conventional perception of a zombie at the time was voodoo, witchcraft, white zombie, I Walked with the Zombie, those classic horror movies.
Is there vampires in
right,
I Am Legend? And
right.
Even in the Price flick, weren't they called them vampires?
I think
right?
they
But
did.
They acted more like zombies.
And I mean, it's very similar to what we'll especially see in the second part. And yeah, I mean, I don't think that, again, for Romero, it was the dead have come back to life, and the explanation isn't really important, but you do actually get one. I think that's the misconception that some people think, because they don't really worry about it too much, and they don't go in. But I think next part of the movie is where it gets really real, because this is where you start getting real information from the outside about what's happening, and that just makes it like, and you'll see all that. But it's gonna be good. Anything before we get into the exciting middle, Evan?
Yeah. Alana's got a great question here. Is a zombie a flesh-eating ghoul, or is a ghoul a flesh-eating zombie?
Oh gosh. See, this is not semantics. This is a serious lingual debate that we've got to sort out, because I mean, again, like a zombie in the voodoo sense is very that was well established. I think that's what Romero thought of. That's why he preferred the word ghoul.
Yeah.
So a zombie didn't always eat flesh, like I think that was why, like that was not a part of zombies. Like that's where this movie changed everything, because now we get and the original title. Well, we talked about monster flick into Night of Anubis.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was sent off to the distributors, the title on it was Night of the Flesh Eaters. Then they put a little copyright symbol right beside the title. But the distributor that ended up picking it up, Walter Reed organization, changed the title to Night of the Living Dead and did not put the copyright symbol on the new title card. So that's how, and within 2 or 3 years, this became common knowledge, and it was out of their hands. And the filmmakers never made a dime off this, basically.
That sucks.
These 10 people that originally they all kicked in $600 and thought, we could make a movie for 10 people, $600, $6,000. Sure, we can make a horror movie. Quickly realized, oh no, we'll need at least $12,000. Final budget for this movie, $114,000 at that time.
Wow.
At this time, that'd be about $1 million. But basically, they got more money. They started in July 1967. They got more money. They got more, because the 10 people originally were all the investors. And then they split up the percentages and got like other investors that were getting less percentages to contribute more, doctors and lawyers, local people. And they got a budget to do a lot more, and we'll see it
and none of those people got any of their money back by the
not what they should have, not the millions and millions and millions of dollars.
That's rough.
Yeah, so but we'll get into more of that. We'll talk more about Romero and his
Good for us.
relation with our benefit, right? Everybody tonight. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting middle of Night of the Living Dead right now. That jazzy music, and then we go back into the...
He turns the radio on. Dun, 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 dun.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments. At this hour, we repeat, these are the facts as we know.
This is when
there
it
is
starts
an epidemic
getting
of mass murder being committed by a virtual army of unidentified assassins. The murders are taking place in villages, cities, rural homes, and suburbs with no apparent pattern or reason for the slayings. It seems to be a sudden, general explosion of mass homicide. We have some descriptions of the assassins. Eyewitnesses say they are ordinary-looking people. Some say they appear to be in a kind of trance. Others describe them as being...
See, just a news reporter on the radio just stating it all matter-of-factly scared the hell out of me. And mass
There
murder.
is no really authentic way for us to say who or what to look for and guard yourself against. Misshapen monsters.
Yeah,
Reaction of law enforcement officials is one of complete
This
bewilderment
isn't
at this
just
hour.
happening.
So far, we have been unable to determine that any kind of organized investigation is
And they were like, how do we
underway.
communicate
Police,
that?
sheriff's
We don't have a
deputies,
budget.
and emergency ambulances.
Radio.
Radio and
deluged with calls for
we'll
help.
see more later.
The scene can best be described as mayhem. Mayors of Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and
When
Miami.
they built that fireplace, how long do you think they could keep that fire running?
Not long.
Guard may be mobilized at any moment, but that has not happened as yet. The only advice our reporters have been able to get from official sources is for private citizens to stay in their homes behind locked doors. Do not venture outside for any reason until the nature of this crisis has been determined. And
Just
until
all
we
that.
can
Don't
advise
go
what course of
outside.
action to take. Keep listening to radio
Like, just
and
imagining
TV
if I actually
for any
heard
special
something like
instructions
that.
as this
Scared.
crisis develops further.
Now imagine.
Thousands
just
of office and factory workers are being urged to stay at their places of employment, not to make any attempt
Oh no,
to
I
get
gotta
to their
stay
homes.
at work.
However, in spite of this urging and warning, streets and highways are packed with frantic people
The
trying
big
to
ass
get their
torch
families
in this fucking
apparently
apartment.
to flee just anywhere.
That's real.
We repeat,
Real
the
torch.
safest course of action at this time is simply to stay
So,
where
the actor who played Johnny, who was also a producer, his brother like crewed on the film. And apparently, somewhere in this scene, accidentally got set on fire. And like the actor who played the first ghoul, Bill Heinzman, had to put him out.
Shit. I mean, was he okay?
I guess enough, but that's the kind of that's how this was. Like, it's just a bunch of people out in Pennsylvania trying to make them, and they're let's set shit on fire. Let's go around with torches. Let's swing boards around. Let's break glass windows. Like they had to break that window in Russ Schreiner's mom's car. Like they had to break her car window and then go.
Well, they already wrecked it.
No, she wrecked it. And then they said, "Oh yeah, let's use that."
Now tells us that the emergency presidential conference, which we've just mentioned, will include high-ranking scientists from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. That's the extent of this latest bulletin. Repeating, the President, members of his cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and scientists from NASA within the hour. All radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country, including the one to which you're listening, have joined their facilities in an emergency network to bring you this news as it develops. We urge you to stay tuned to radio and
Apparently,
TV
Barbara
and
was supposed to be a
stay
little more
indoors
active
at
in
all
the
costs.
original script,
Late reports reaching
but
this
they
bureau
liked the way
tell
that
of frightened people
she
seeking
was
refuge
playing
in
it
churches,
kind of really
schools,
like
and government buildings,
traumatized
demanding shelter and
in
protection
shock.
from the
and they
wholesale
liked
murder,
that
which apparently
better
is
than what
engulfing
they
much of
had.
the nation.
So
Law enforcement officials are at a loss to explain or, even at this hour, even to theorize about the reasons for this wave of murder. So far, the advice we are able to give the public is summarized by Inspector Chief T.K. Dunmore of Camden, North Carolina, who's quoted.
that scared me. When they said North Carolina, that was what did it. Okay, you want to know what did it for me? That.
Talking about hitting close to home.
When they said North Carolina, I said it's happening here. That scared the shit out of me. Like I knew it wasn't happening at the time, but again, just could this happen? North Carolina? They said North Carolina. Oh my God.
The living dead could be here.
Misshapen monsters, people who look like they're in a trance, and things that look like people but act like animals. Some eyewitnesses tell of seeing victims who look as though they had been torn apart. This whole ghastly story began developing 2 days ago with the report of the slaying of a family of 7 in their rural home near Gulf.
Bingo.
Since then, reports of such senseless killings began.
So all this music is stock music. From the Capitol Records library of stock music.
Have we heard any of this?
Teenagers from Outer Space, which was our kickoff film last season.
Our newsmen have been on the telephone talking with officials in other cities and have determined that none of this kind of mass murder has yet been reported west of the Mississippi River, except in the extreme southeastern portion of Texas. Similar killings have been reported around the Houston and Galveston areas, but nothing like
I found the gun and some bullets out there.
It was only late yesterday
Oh, and
that it
these.
first became clear we were facing some kind of national emergency.
He's trying to make up for punching her in the
This place
face
is
to
boarded
calm
up
her
pretty
down.
solid now. We ought to be all right here for a while. We have the gun and bullets, food and the radio. Sooner or later, someone's bound to come and get us out.
Yeah, Lana, I when I saw Poltergeist, I also was afraid.
Hey, that's us. We're doing all right.
There was going to be a clown in my room somewhere I didn't know about.
Look, I don't know if you're hearing me, but I'm going upstairs now.
Like, look, Barbara, Ben,
If
background.
anything should try to break in here, I can hear it from up there. I'll be down to take care of it. Everything is all right for now. I'll be back to reinforce the windows and doors later. But you'll be all right for now, okay? Okay.
Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially
And I think the vote thing, I think you do exclamation point vote, like 1 or 2. 1 is yes and 2 is no. I can tell you.
It's 50-50.
It's 1 is yes, 2 is no. Exclamation point 1 is yes if you want to keep the chat. Exclamation point 2 is no if you want to get rid of the chat. Obviously, we've been going without it tonight, so if you like it, like not having it, let me know. And we talked about replacing
to
with
the
facts,
effect that
but
people who
obviously
acted as though they were in a kind of trance were killing and eating their victims prompted authorities to examine the bodies of some of the victims. Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases, the killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland, civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they kill. And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing
the
actually
cannibalism thing is really,
are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you, reports which have been verified as completely as is possible in this confused situation. It is happening, and it would appear that no one is safe from this wave of mass murder.
Don't shoot! We're from town. A radio.
County, Pennsylvania. The Butler County Sheriff has verified that reports of murder victims being partially eaten by their slayers is true. No further details available at this time. However,
How long you guys been down there? I could use some help up here.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
You mean you didn't hear the racket we were making up here?
How were we supposed to know what was going on? Could have been those things for all we knew.
That girl was screaming. Sure, you must know what a girl screaming sounds like. Those things don't make any noise. Anybody would know somebody that needed help.
Look, it's kind of hard to hear what's going on from down there.
We thought we could hear screams, but for all we knew, that could have meant those things were in the house afterward.
And you wouldn't come up and help?
Well, if there were more...
The racket sounded like the place was being ripped apart. How were we supposed to know what was going on?
Now, wait a minute. You just got finished saying you couldn't hear from down there. Now you say it sounded like the place was being ripped apart. It would be nice if you get your story straight, man.
All right, now you tell me. I'm not going to take that kind of a chance when we got a safe place. We luck into a safe place, and you're telling us we got to risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, why don't we settle this...
Look, mister, we came up, okay? We're here. Now I suggest we all go back downstairs before any of those things find out we're in here.
They can't get in here.
You got the whole place boarded up?
Yeah, most of it. All but a few spots upstairs. They won't be hard to fix.
You're insane. The cellar's the safest place.
I'm telling you, they can't get in here.
And I'm telling you, those things turned over our car. We were damn lucky to get away at all. Now you tell me those things can't get through this lousy pile of wood?
His wife and kids downstairs. The kid's hurt.
Well, I still think we're better off up here.
We could strengthen everything up, Mr. Cooper.
With all of us working, we can fix this place up in no time. We have everything we need up here.
We can take all that stuff downstairs with us. Man, you're really crazy, you know that? You got 1,000,000 windows up here. All these windows, you're gonna make them strong enough to keep these things out, huh?
I told you those things don't have any strength. I smashed 3 of them and pushed another one out the door.
Did you hear me when I told you they turned over our car?
Oh, hell, any good 5 men can do that.
That's my point. Only there's not going to be 5 or even 10. There's going to be 20, 30, maybe 100 of those things. And as soon as they know we're here, this place is going to be crawling with them.
Well, if there are that many, they'll probably get us wherever we are.
Look, the cellar. The cellar, there's only one door, right? Just one door, that's all we have to protect. Tom and I fixed it so it locks and boards from the inside. But up here, all these windows, why, we'd never know where they were going to hit us next.
You got a point, Mr. Cooper. But down in the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there'd be no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there with no windows, if a rescue party did come, we wouldn't even know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar is a death trap.
I don't know, Mr. Cooper. I think he's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar.
The attic, I feel like there's a chance.
I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
Yeah,
Now,
get on the roof, jump
No,
off.
I'm not going to wait. I've made my decision, now you make yours.
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about this. We can make it to the cellar if we have to.
Why did these guys remind
And if
me
we
of
do decide to stay down
Gilligan
there,
and
we'll need
Skipper?
some things from up here. So let's at least
Oh, just
consider
wait.
this a while.
If you box yourself in this cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
Yeah, it looks like about 8 or 10 out there now.
There's more than there were. There are a lot out back, too.
George Romero made that hand, and he said it looked like shit. Like, George Romero said he couldn't go back and watch this movie without just seeing the flaws. So, I mean, the squibs here, man.
It's all right.
This is what time where squibs were just starting to be used.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of squib action.
Well, and again, remember, this film was shot in rural Pennsylvania. So the people who were doing these squibs, they just got lucky. The production director's brother was a fireworks expert. Which I think just meant if somebody local needed fireworks done, he was the guy you called. And his friend of his, Tony. So they did, and there's the nude. They always talk about the nude. They had to paint her in gray makeup. They're very happy to have a nude. And these are the more complex makeups. That's actually, we're going to see her just in a second. But remember this, the one that eats a bug.
Was that scripted to have a nude ghoul, or did she just show
crazy.
up like that?
I think they wanted a nude,
window
and
with
there
door in
was
this
one
place.
who was just
We've got to
volunteering
get down
to do
into
it.
the cellar.
Go down in your damn cellar. Get out of here!
I'm taking the girl with me.
You leave her here. Keep your hands off her. And everything else that's up here, too. Because if I stay up here, I'm fighting for everything up here. And the radio and the food is part of what I'm fighting for. Now, if you're going down the cellar, get.
The man's insane. He's insane. We've got to have food down there. We've got a right.
This is your house.
We've got a right.
You going down there with him?
Well,
yes or no? This is your last chance. No beating around the bush.
Listen, I got a kid down there. She can't possibly. I couldn't bring her up here. She can't possibly take all the racket and those things smashing through the windows.
Well, you're her father. If you're stupid enough to go die in that trap, that's your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you. It is tough for the kid that her old man is so stupid. Now, you get the hell down in the cellar. You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
You bastards.
You're banished.
You know, I won't open this door again. I mean it.
Mr. Cooper, with your help, we could...
With my help.
Let him go, man. His mind is made up. Just let him go.
Wait a minute. Judy, come on up here, honey.
Let's ask the professor.
You're gonna let them get hurt too, huh?
It's all right, honey. Go ahead. If we stick together, man, we can fix it up real good. There's lots of places we can run to up here. Mr. Cooper, we'd all be a lot better off if all three of us were working together.
Did this house just have this
Hey.
weird built-in
Hey,
cellar?
kid.
No. That's a great question. That's a fake wall. That Vince Stravinsky, the same guy that built the fake fireplace and was bathing in the stream and
I'm not boxing myself.
all that, he built that because there was no basement in this house. The basement is actually the latent image production facility basement.
Safe now.
Oh.
Boarded up tight.
What about Tom and Judy?
They want to stay up there, let them. There are two other people upstairs, a man and a girl.
We heard the screaming.
Yeah, but I didn't know who they were, and I wasn't about to take any unnecessary chances.
Of course not, Harry.
So this is Carl Hardman and Marilyn Eastman. They're two of the 10 initial investors. They had their own production company, Hardman Associates.
Is she all right?
And they worked together, but they were also
Feels
romantic
warm. Maybe it's
partners
shock.
as well. And
Where'd you get the bandage?
they were just
Laundry in a basket. I
jacks of all trades. They did the sound for this. They did the makeup. These two people were responsible for the makeup. And the girl there
stay
is his real daughter, Kyra
Let
Schoen.
Too many ways those monsters
And,
can get in up there.
It was a family affair.
We'll see who's right. We'll see when they come begging me to let them in down here.
That's important, isn't it?
What?
To be right, everybody else to be wrong.
What do you mean by that?
Does anyone up there know why we're being attacked?
Whatever it isn't just happening here. It's some kind of mass murder. It's going on everywhere. The radio said to stay inside.
Radio?
Radio upstairs. I heard a news bulletin.
There's a radio upstairs and you boarded us in down here?
I know what I'm doing.
What did it say?
Nothing. Nothing. They don't know anything yet. There's mass murder everywhere, and people are supposed to look for a safe place to hide.
Take the boards off that door.
We are staying down here, Helen.
Harry, that radio is at least some kind of communication. If the authorities know what's happening, well, they'll send people for us to tell us what to do. How are we going to know what's going on if we lock ourselves in this dungeon? We may not enjoy living together, but dying together isn't going to solve anything.
Ooh.
Those people aren't our enemies.
Mr. Cooper! Mr. Cooper, Ben found a television set upstairs.
Well, now we have to go upstairs.
Let's go up. Tom?
Yeah.
If Judy would come downstairs for a few minutes, Harry and I could come upstairs.
Okay, yeah, right away. Will you do it?
Do I have to?
Nothing's gonna get done with them.
She actually originally auditioned for the role of Barbara, but it was a little too more demanding,
Okay,
so
open up.
they gave her the role. Her name's Judith Riley. They gave her the role of Judy, so makes it easy.
I'll take good care of her, Helen.
She's all I have.
Why don't you go upstairs now?
Yeah, so it's funny. The guy who built the fake wall, the fake everything, his brother was the one that did the squibs, right?
There's reviews in the house.
So, hey, Drunk Review, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good evening so far.
Her brother was killed.
Hey, give me a hand with this thing.
I gotta go help Ben with the television.
They got a television? We're definitely staying upstairs.
Our daughter will be fine down there.
First they're sour, then they're boozy.
Don't be afraid of me. I'm Helen Cooper, Harry's wife.
So you remember the zombie we saw, or the ghoul we saw eating the bug on the tree?
Yeah.
This place is ridiculous.
It's
Look at this.
well,
There's a
they're
million
not
weak
going to
spots
show
up
her anymore. But it's the wife. It's his wife. It's her.
Oh.
She doubled. She was that. She did her own makeup and ate
Her
that
brother
bug.
was killed.
Oh gosh, she really ate that bug, didn't she?
She's committed, man.
Wow.
Like that's the thing. They are the when you watch interviews and stuff, they are the sweetest people. Like they play like such a terrible, and he is the sweetest man.
That's how much good these
And
windows
people
are.
always comment on how horrible he is. He's like, well, I guess my acting must have been pretty.
Why don't you do something to help somebody?
Carl Hardman.
Here I have it. Drag a couple of those chairs together.
There's a socket over here.
I mean, he was the one that called the actress playing Barbara, Judith O'Dea, and
You
said,
better watch
hey,
this and try to
do you want to
understand
roll in
what's
this
going on."
movie? Because she had worked for him. And
I don't want anyone
he's in
playing on my
Hollywood
hands.
trying to find
Is there anything I
work.
can do to
I don't want to hear any more from you, mister. If you stay up here, you take orders from me. And that includes leaving the girl alone.
It's on, it's on.
There's no sound. Play with the
Lines
record.
like that were very important to a black audience when
Incredible
the
as they
movie
seem,
came
are
out.
not
Like the way that he
results
just
of mass hysteria.
take orders from me. I'm boss
What do
up
they think
here.
we're imagining all this?
Shut up.
Because this is before blaxploitation.
The wave of murder which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims. First eyewitness accounts of this grisly development came from people who were understandably frightened and almost incoherent. Officials and newsmen at first discounted those eyewitness descriptions as being beyond belief. However, the reports persisted. Medical
Wayne, I think you might have to do
examinations of some of the
exclamation
victims
point
bore out the fact that they had
If you want to
been
enter the raffle,
partially devoured.
you got to do exclamation point raffle. I'm pretty sure.
I think we have some late word just arriving, and I'll interrupt to bring this to you. This is the latest disclosure
Thank you,
in a
Drunk
report
Review,
from
yeah.
National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact. When this emergency first began, radio and television was advising people to stay inside, behind locked doors for safety. Well, that situation has now changed, and we're able to report a definite course of action for you. Civil defense machinery
Drunk
has
Review,
been
it's,
organized to provide rescue stations with food,
what is
shelter, medical treatment, and protection by armed National Guardsmen. Stay tuned. The broadcast
Exclamation
stations
point
in your
vote
local
1
area
for
for
yes.
this list of rescue
Exclamation
stations.
point
This
vote
list will be
2
repeated
for no
throughout
to
our news
keep
coverage. Look for the name
the
of the rescue
scrolling chat.
station nearest you and make your way to that location as soon as possible.
So we have that truck. If we can get some gas, we can get out of here.
There's a pump out by the shed.
I know, that's why I pulled in here, but it's locked.
Emergency meeting called this afternoon by the president. Since convening this conference of the presidential cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the CIA has not produced any public information. Why are space experts being consulted about an Earth-bound emergency? So far, all the betting on the answer to that question centers on the recent Explorer satellite shot to Venus. That satellite, you'll recall, started back to Earth, but never got here. That's the space vehicle which orbited Venus and then was purposely destroyed by NASA when scientists discovered it was carrying a mysterious
if you like it, Drunk
high-level
Review,
radiation
I think it's
with it.
vote
Could
1.
that radiation be somehow
Vote 1,
responsible
yes,
for the
keep
wholesale
it.
murders we're
Vote
now
2,
suffering?
no, get rid of
Newsman
it.
Don Quinn in Washington has posed those questions.
It's obvious our best move is to try to get out of here.
How are you going to get over to that pump? Look.
So they just explained it's
You're coming
space
from a meeting
radiation?
regarding the explosion of the Venus probe, is that right?
Venus probe.
Yes,
that was the.
See this guy with the microphone on the far left?
Between this and the phenomenon.
There's a definite
That guy?
connection.
Yeah.
A definite
George
connection.
Romero, the
In other words,
director.
you feel that the radiation on the Venus
And look,
probe is
look
not
where,
because
look behind
these
them.
mutations-
Look where they're
There's a
at.
very high degree of radiation.
Well, just a minute. I'm not sure that that's certain at all. I don't think that has been
only logical
irrefutably
explanation that we
proven.
have at this time.
In other words,
Washington, D.C., right in front
the
of
radiation
Capitol.
is not the cause of the mutation.
Oh, yeah.
I can't speak for the
They did not
entire
get
military at this
permission.
time.
They just fucking decided to
I
drive to
disagree
D.C.
with
one
these
morning,
gentlemen
or
presently
one
until
night,
we,
and the next morning
until
they
this is
went.
I got the, like the chat.
Everything is being done that can be done.
I can only see like the tiny
Oh, do you need
bit
to
of the
move?
strip. No.
And Professor, you feel that there is
All I
a
can see
definite
was
connection
streets.
between
Like,
the
where are we?
as far as
I don't know.
Keller and myself.
Doctor,
Oh,
please.
good night, William.
I thought we decided that is not proved yet.
Was the satellite
watching.
when the satellite was exploded?
Oh, see the Capitol back there?
Radiation.
I mean,
enough
yeah, I know
to
where
cause
we are
mutation
now.
under certain circumstances.
It's just wild that they were not. This is a restricted
It does
area.
seem to have a bearing.
Like they just went there.
Will there be a reply for this?
And this is Carl
There will be a
Hardman's
reply.
car,
Yes.
Later
the
this
guy
afternoon.
playing the mean dick that wants to be in the basement.
There will be a report this afternoon.
Well, perhaps there will be a report,
yes.
a more
Later.
full report. Maybe close the window.
We are doing everything possible to solve the problem.
Yeah, maybe.
Further explanation of this.
We've heard all we need to know. We have to try to get out of here.
He said the rescue stations and doctors and medical supplies. If we could get Karen there, we could get help for her.
Romero is one of the world's foremost authorities on space science.
Alana, I've got
I saw a sign that said
one vote
Willard.
for
It's
no.
only about 17 miles from here.
You know this area. You from around here?
Judy and I are both from around here. We
Yeah,
were on
one
our way
vote
up to
for
the
no.
lake to go
That's what I've
swimming.
got so far.
And Judy had a radio, and we heard the first reports about this. So we knew the old house was here, and we came in and found the lady upstairs dead. Then these other people came. We went down into the basement and put a bar across the door, and it is pretty strong.
How could we possibly get away from here? We've got a sick child, 2 women, 1 woman out of her head, 3 men, and the place is surrounded with these things.
For NASA. Dr. Grimes, your entire staff, I know, has been working very hard to find some solution to these things that are happening. Do you have any answers at this time?
Yes, we have some answers. But first, let me stress the importance of seeking medical attention for anyone who's been injured in
Thanks
any way.
for asking, Alana.
We don't know yet
I love my
what
cake.
complications might result from such injuries.
How bad has your kid been hurt?
Good advice, Doctor. Now, how about the basic problem of patients?
I thought about putting.
You go down there and tell, Judy. Yeah, you tell Judy to come up here and you stay with the kid. All right?
Action taken with regard to the Venus probe. In the cold room at the university, we had a cadaver from which all 4 limbs had been amputated. Sometime early this morning, it opened its eyes and began to move its trunk. It was dead, but it opened its eyes and tried to move.
They want you upstairs. Did she ask for me?
She hasn't said anything.
I don't understand. Baby. It's Mommy.
I heard. I'll come back down as soon as I find out what they want.
Thank you, Judy.
The body should be disposed of at once, preferably by cremation.
Well, how long after death, then, does the body become reactivated?
It's only a matter of minutes.
Minutes? Well, that doesn't give people time to make any arrangements.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't give them time to make funeral arrangements.
Oh, hold on. I got right back. There we go.
Be carried to the street and
It's
and
annoying
burned.
because
They must be burned immediately. Soak them with gasoline and burn them. The bereaved will have to forego the dubious comforts that a funeral service will give. They're just dead flesh and dangerous.
see.
And that is going to take us to our... That's why that was annoying, because we were literally right at our break. So, sorry about that. That was me. I was trying to copy in the rest of this message saying how to do the voting thing. And I was going to pin it, but hotkeys. So, that was the exciting middle of Night of the Living Dead. What do we think so far, Evan?
Yeah, I forget how much, like, backstory they do go into here in the middle.
I always kind of felt like it was a movie that didn't give an explanation, but that's just because I don't think I was paying attention to the dialogue. But right, like it gives you more than you expect. Yeah, like when you realize it's related to this outer space satellite probe, whatever, putting out radiation across the East Coast, it's like, wait a minute, what? But that's lore, right? Like that's like, and that was George Romero's kind of, he didn't really go into it too much, but the man kind of knew what he wanted in terms of lore. But yeah, I mean, this second part of the movie, you start to see where it gets complicated, right? Like you bring in these other people, and especially one person who is at odds with another person in terms of what they should do, being in charge of everybody, and
who gets to be in charge of the cellar.
Right, yeah, in the cellar, out of the cellar, what's the best move? I mean,
we've got a kid in the mix.
Yeah,
that really complicates things.
And not just any kid, a sick kid.
Sick kid.
Right? That's what is like, because it's just a ticking time bomb.
Sick kid in a ghoul flick. What do you think's gonna happen?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because, you know, like the whole idea of like this movie really starts to feel even more real when the newscasters come in, right? Like that's what really always amped it up for me. And like the newscaster in that scene, or in those bits that we saw, who was a real life newscaster, named Chuck Craig, and he wrote all his own copy for those scenes. Like they like summarized to him, or they gave him the thing, and then he, as a newsman, wrote his own, and that's why it has this kind of ring of authenticity. I mean, it all does, you know. And he's not the only real life TV figure that we'll see in this movie. More will come up in the next bit, but I mean, this really was a kind of it was weird how people were just game to help out, you know. Like again, all the zombie ghouls that we're seeing, don't let me get it wrong, all the ghouls that we're seeing are friends, family, investors, a lot of the investors, and then even like they did a lot of advertising work with their companies, so clients or people that they just met in the business who are coming out to be zombies.
Well, it's kind of the beautiful thing about regional filmmaking, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and the thing is,
you can turn out like a whole community just to make a movie.
Right, which we've got a little taste of that.
We know what that's like,
right?
And honestly, I'm starting to see some parallels in.
If only we would have made it a feature, right?
Some things we may have worked on in the past.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean this movie, I mean it's always been very influential to me, but just for, I mean, we'll talk more about it after the movie, but literally this movie influenced, I mean, within the next 5 years after it was released. I mean, I think it was, someone earlier mentioned Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You wouldn't have Texas Chainsaw Massacre without Night of the Living Dead. Like, the director of Texas Chainsaw, Tobe Hooper, said as much. Like, he said, I saw Night of the Living Dead and realized what could be done. And a lot of Someone brought up Evil Dead earlier. Sam Raimi also realized he could make Evil Dead after seeing Night of the Living Dead. Realized, oh yeah, like, you know, because it was again just people in a region that's not really known for filmmaking or having the resources to make a major film. Romero, and that's the cool thing about Romero, is he worked in Pennsylvania for most of his career. Like, he made movies for the big Hollywood studios, and he would make movies stay in Pennsylvania if he could. Like Creepshow, all in Pennsylvania. And that was George Romero. Like, that was, you know, that he just was a regional filmmaker in the truest sense, but he was also, you know, a lot of regional filmmakers we've seen that make one movie and that's it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, usually you don't see like a career,
a whole career.
filmmaker.
Yeah, it's very.
You
That's
either make it to Hollywood or you don't.
right, and that's the thing, is Romero kind of was able to exist because, like, the movies that he did after that, he made actually a romantic comedy right after this with some of the same. Judith Riley, who's playing Judy, the girlfriend, she was in his next film, the main actress in it, and it was a romantic comedy called There's Always Vanilla. Didn't do well. So he did a movie called Season of the Witch, which I don't know that it's horror per se. I think it's kind of a witchcraft movie, but kind of not. But The Crazies was his next big horror movie, and then he also did Martin, which is one of my favorite Romero, probably my favorite Romero movie, and it's his spin on vampire lore. So, like, we've seen him totally reinvent zombie movies tonight. Far cry from White Zombie. But with vampires, he did a really distinct take on it with Martin, which is just, filmed in Pennsylvania, this 70, 80-year-old vampire who looks like a 20-year-old kid goes to live with his relative who is convinced that he's a Nosferatu and is like, if you do one thing, if you kill one person in our town, I'm going to stake you through the heart. I'm going to kill you. And so the whole movie is like him like trying to just exist. And he does a thing where he calls into radio shows and it's like, I'm a vampire. And those are the best sequences of the movie because just the interaction, the interplay. There's something, again, that Romero has a skill of taking like radio, film, and integrating that into the movie in a way that gives it a sense of like realism. And so, you know, again, but Romero went back to the Dead movies. He wasn't done with it. So those are the trailers we're going to see for the break. His sequel to Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, from 1978? 6? I don't know. But Dawn of the Dead is kind of one of those rare sequels that is considered better than the original to some people. I don't know if I'd agree. But it is, I love it. No, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. Dawn of the Dead is amazing. And again, the social commentary is way different because it's more about American commercialism and consumerism because it takes place at a mall. These survivors, instead of being holed up in a little farmhouse, they're in a mall. But the zombies are like existing in and around the mall. And so there's some degree of like, they're trying to go up escalators and they're trying to do things, but they're zombies. And so there's critiques going on there. And so then about less than 10 years after that, he makes a sequel to that entitled Day of the Dead. And I actually really like that one too, but not as many people like Day of the Dead. It is more low budget. You know, they're underground this time. Survivors underground, a bunch of military guys who are like maniacal, like kind of sadistic douchebags, scientists who want to like cure it, or like want the main scientist who is trying to prove that the zombies can be socialized. So he's a mad scientist, and I love it.
So I've only seen this one. I haven't seen the other two. Do they all take place in like the same?
They're supposed to.
It's a sequel. Like it's not just not just another stab at the dead.
I mean, he doesn't give you any more explanation, at least in these first three. And you know, Day of the Dead is over the top. But I like it a lot because of that. There's the mad scientist in it. The military guys call him Frankenstein. And he's like, you know, he's just wearing this blood covered like doctor's coat the whole time, and he's like got a zombie like trying to listen to a Walkman, you know, and it's just that's Romero. That's the kind of stuff Romero does. So I really like those two, but he would go on to do more, but we'll talk about that after the break, and you know, also touch on the some of the unofficial sequels to those movies, because they're a little interesting. Just some dumb stuff, so it's, you know, we'll have fun with it. So we're gonna get these two trailers, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into the exciting conclusion of our season 13 premiere, Night of the Living Dead. So stick around, we'll be right back.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its time.
Not that room! Not that room!
Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all times.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill. This situation must be controlled before it's too late. They are multiplying too rapidly.
Dawn of the Dead.
Meet me on the roof at 9 o'clock. Getting out.
I don't believe
We're
it.
gonna
What?
get out in the chopper. We've got to survive. Somebody's got to survive.
They kill for one reason. They kill for food. They eat their victims.
Imagine, if you will, that something has gone terribly wrong.
Shoot it, man.
Now, accept the fact that there's no escaping the horrible consequences. George Romero brings back the dead. Night of the Living Dead has ended. Dawn of the Dead is here.
We must not be lulled by the concept that these are our family members or our friends. They are not. They will not respond to such emotions.
Operator dead. Post abandoned. We may never get out alive. It's everywhere. What the hell is it?
Looks like a shopping center, one of those big indoor malls.
What are they doing? Why do they come here?
Some kind of instinct, memory, what they used to do. This was an important place in their lives.
What is it?
We've got a war.
I'm afraid.
We have spawned our own savagery. Soon, it will consume us all. It is a horrible, hauntingly accurate vision of the mindless excesses of a society gone mad.
They must be destroyed on sight.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
We are down to the line, folks. We are down to the line.
Dawn of the Dead. First, he created the most frightening film ever made. Then, he took his unique vision of terror one step further. Now, George A. Romero takes us out of the night, beyond the dawn, and into the darkest day of horror the world has ever known. Day of the Dead.
There have to be survivors in Washington.
Oh, my.
They have more sophisticated shelters than this one. There have to be people in those shelters who know about us, who know where we are. With no radio contact, they'll come looking for us.
I said shut up! They can be tricked into being good little girls and boys. The same way we were tricked into it on the promise of some reward to come.
What the fuck is wrong with you people? They're dead! They're fucking dead, and you want to teach them tricks?
They have to be rewarded, Captain. Why else will they do what we want them to do?
I don't want them to do anything but drop over! Those are my men in there! That's it. Run, you fucking lunatics.
George A. Romero's Day of the Dead, the most eagerly awaited day in horror film history.
And we are back. So that was the trailers for Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. And both very enjoyable movies in their own right for what they are. And Romero made more. You would have thought he would just stop at a trilogy. But no, I mean, and I think what did it, so he was supposed to do the first film adaptation of Resident Evil. And which, I mean, hey, go to the Godfather zombie movies to make your, zombie movie. But it fell through. I don't know what, something happened, it didn't work out. But shortly after that was when he made the next film. And so he decided, I think somewhere along in that process, he decided that he was ready to come back to the subject matter and realized that he could touch on other parts of American society.
There's more things to critique.
Yeah, and I mean, one of them was a found footage movie, which I tried to watch it. I just couldn't get into it, which I felt kind of bad about. But it started with these, I don't know if they were student filmmakers or just filmmakers trying to make a mummy movie, and it was really bad, right? And then and so that was wild. But he did like a bigger budget one that Universal released. Like he actually, he got some decent opportunities to explore the world. Because you're right, I think it is all the same world. To explore that more. But, again...
Of the blank dead.
Yeah.
Of the dead universe.
But that's the problem, is that when this movie's public domain, especially in other countries that don't give a flip about American copyright law, they'll just make unofficial sequels. So, of course, the most famous is to Dawn of the Dead. There's a movie that in America was released as Zombie. But, in Italy, Dawn of the Dead was entitled Zombie just with an I instead of IE. So, an unofficial Italian sequel to Dawn of the Dead was released. In Italy, it was called Zombie 2.
Okay.
So, if there are any On Cinema fans out there, you'll know this most recent season, they try to make a sequel to Zombie 2 entitled Zombie 2 2. And let's just say that it turns into something entirely different. But, it was funny how that even this year came up, because they explain it, the fact that Zombie... It was released in America as Zombie, but it was really Zombie 2 because it was an unofficial sequel to it's just the way that film facts work is kind of just so granular and annoying. Sometimes you have to make fun of it, but that's one of them. And so there was like Zombie 3, Zombie 4, which have
3,
nothing
2.
to do with any of they're all unrelated.
They're just fan fiction.
And then
That's
there
some of
were
it.
like movies that came out in the 70s called Something of the Living Dead and Fangs of the Living Dead. It had totally unrelated. But you can't copyright a title. So people just exploited it.
Hey, do you want to rename our stream? For Stream of the Living Dead?
Stream of the Living Dead. Yeah, we can do that. Again, this has really been it's been wild. And we've got the exciting conclusion of this movie to get into, and I've still got more facts for you, but we've got to get into it. So anything before we get into it, Evan?
Have we covered all the parts of the day in these unofficial sequels? Was there ever like a mid-afternoon of the Living Dead?
Not quite. Not yet. We could do it. Maybe. It's all so tricky. But I do.
Daylight savings of the Living Dead.
It is funny that this movie takes place on a Sunday, the day after daylight savings, right?
Yeah, isn't that the real kicker? You lose an hour of sleep and then you get eaten by ghouls.
Doesn't that suck?
What a weekend!
But it's so funny that that's the week into weekend that we're watching that. You know?
Yeah, that was totally
planned. I actually realized that like a couple days ago and was like, no way! Oh, mind blown! It takes place on daylight savings time. Oh, my birthday! Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of synchronicities happening, so we love to see it. But yeah, I mean, again, what we've seen up to this point, obviously, if you don't know, if you haven't seen this before, a bunch of people are holed up in this farmhouse being attacked by marauding ghouls.
Things aren't looking great.
And no, things are not looking
We haven't had a whole lot of progress.
Good. But that's just what we're about to see. So, yeah, right.
Who's breaking through?
We'll see. Well, on that, now I'm trying to make sure I got like most.
We've covered all the bases.
I wanted to cover up to this point. It's so funny. Yeah, I think without further ado, we can go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of Night of the Living Dead right now.
Sheets to tear up into small strips, okay? Is there a fruit cellar here?
Yes.
We need some bottles or jars to make Molotov cocktails and hold them off while we try to escape.
Hey, there's a big can of kerosene down there.
I'll see what I can find.
I'll look for the bottles.
There's a big key ring down there. There may be a key to the gas pump on it.
Molotov cocktails sounds like progress to me.
Cocktails from a window upstairs. Meantime, a couple of us can go out and try to get the gas and come back for the rest of the people.
But that'll leave a door open someplace.
So I love how that actor just pretended to walk
Better be
downstairs.
this door. It's closer to the truck. Before we go, we'll put some supplies behind the cellar door. While we're gone, the rest of you can hold up in there.
I found some fruit jars in the cellar. And there's a key on here that's labeled for the gas pump out back.
I'm not really that used to the truck. I found it abandoned.
I can handle the truck, no sweat.
You're it, then. You and I'll go. We'll put whatever lumber we find behind the cellar door. You can go upstairs and toss the cocktails from a window. Tom, you and I will have to unboard this door. After you toss the cocktails, you hustle back down here and lock this door. It's no good to board it up because we'll have to get back in quickly. After we get the gas and get back into the house, then we'll worry about getting everybody into the truck. Now let's move it.
All business.
Rescue stations which have been set up. Indications are that before this emergency is over, we will need many, many more such rescue stations.
You always have a smile for me. How can you smile like that all the time? How many do you have done? Come on, honey, we gotta move.
Tom, are you sure about the phone?
The phone is dead out. All you get is a recorded message.
If I could only call the folks. They're going to be so worried about us.
Everything will be all right. As soon as we get to Willard, we'll call them. They might even be there.
I know. Tom, are you sure we're doing the right thing, Tom?
What, about getting out of here?
Yeah.
Well, the television said that's the right thing to do. We've got to get to a rescue station.
I don't know.
Come on, honey, you're starting to sound like Mr. Cooper now.
But why do you
He's
have
a
to
square.
go out there?
Look, I know how to handle that truck, and I can handle the pump. Ben doesn't know anything about that stuff.
Ben doesn't know how to pump gas.
For how long, honey? We're safe now, but there's going to be more and more of those things.
I know all that.
Hey, listen. Remember when we had the big flood? Remember how difficult it was for us to convince you that it was right to leave? Remember we had to go to Willard then? This isn't a passing thing, honey. It's not like just a wind passing through. We've got to do something, and fast.
I just don't want you to go out there, that's all.
Hey, Smiley. Where's that big smile for me? Boy, you're showing no use at all, are you? We've got work to do, honey. And you.
So this was his own. He like ran a nightclub, was like an entertainer for a little bit, and then became a chiropractor in North Carolina.
Okay.
Keith Wayne.
We better get her downstairs.
We have to go downstairs now, Barbara.
She's right. You have to go downstairs now, just for a little while, until we get back. Then we can all leave.
Oh, I'd like to leave. Yes.
Poor Barbara, man.
She's been through a lot.
She's been through a whole lot. I feel bad. So bad for Barbara.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I love how those mason jars have never changed. Ball mason jars never changed.
You ready upstairs? Yeah. Okay, toss them.
Yeah, look at that.
That's
Look,
the guy.
look. No, so that's different. That's actually
Go ahead, go on.
the screenwriter.
Oh.
He volunteered to be lit on fire, and he wore 3 or 4 layers of clothing.
Did it work?
Yeah, I don't think he was harmed. And the cemetery ghoul, I don't know if he's been burned yet, but he also volunteered to be lit on fire. That's the beauty of the filmmaking here. Is these people just said, "Yeah, I'll do it. Light me on fire."
making a movie.
We don't have a suit. I'll just wear 3 or 4 layers of clothes. So apparently one of the guys that did the squib work always had a lit cigar in his mouth. Should you be bringing this up with a lit cigar in your mouth? We'll see him later too. Like, so see, there's cemetery ghoul being lit on fire. He was the one that put out the fire on the production crew member that got burned. But he clearly wasn't too afraid of it. So one of these guys playing the zombie, I think, was supposed to have the Ben role. He's one of the 10 original investors, was supposed to play Ben, and then ended up just playing a zombie. Why am I saying zombie and not ghoul? God damn it.
Come on! This key won't work. Watch it. What's the torch? Gotta get away from the pump. Hang on. Now, turn your cruise and get out of the truck.
Get out.
Get out of here. Come on, come on.
I took the car.
Should have stayed in the cellar. I mean, they have to synchronize that, right? Like, person's not really being shown. That shit is so crazy. And this is the 60s, and it was just starting to be done. There's so many people.
Clear. Clear. Cooper! Cooper!
And the music here is so great because this is old music. This is cheesy horror movie music, and they knew that because this is 1968. But it makes the movie. You know what it knows what it is, right? Like, and it makes it like the orchestral. It's great.
Drag you out there and feed you those things.
So I think this is where a lot of people realize that they were really serious and going there with the content of this movie. So those are real entrails, real livers, real meat. One of the investors happened to own some butcher shops and said, "Hey, do you guys want me to just go grab some stuff?
Some parts?
Yeah.
A hand?
Oh, I don't know about, yeah, maybe one of the workers got his hand caught in a machine, but yeah, they just happened to have a butcher investor who said, "I'll just go grab you some stuff." And Romero's like, "You'd be surprised how game everybody was to just chomp down. That'd be covered in Bosco." It was pretty nauseating.
Oh, gosh.
There's supposed to be another broadcast at 3 o'clock.
Very eager. I don't know if I'd be that eager to...
Oh.
Chomp down in intestines.
We don't
No.
have very long to wait.
But that
We
was
can
what
leave.
really a lot of critics,
Well, we better
stuffy
leave
critics,
soon. It's 10
couldn't
minutes
believe.
to 3.
Because movies weren't doing stuff. I mean, if they were really campy.
You know
Like
anything
the
about this
splatter
area at
films
all? I mean, is Willard the
from
nearest
H.G.
town?
Lewis.
I don't know. We were just trying to get to a motel before dark.
You say those things turned your car over. You think we can get it back on its wheels and drive it? Where is it?
Seems like it was pretty far away. Seems like we ran.
Forget it. It's at least a mile.
Johnny has the keys.
You're gonna carry that child a mile through that army of things out there?
I can carry the kid. What's wrong with her? How'd she get hurt?
One of those things grabbed her.
Bit her on the arm.
What's wrong?
Who knows what kind of disease those things carry? Is she conscious?
Barely.
She can't walk. She's too weak.
Well, one of us could try to get to the car.
You gonna turn it over by yourself?
You can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.
You have a car? Where? Where is it?
You won't be able to start it.
Yeah, I know. But where is it?
I mean, they had at least over 50 or 60 people that volunteered.
Good Lord.
To be ghouls.
Being monitored closely by scientists at all the radiation detection stations. At this hour, they report the level of the mysterious radiation continues to increase steadily. So long as this situation remains, government spokesmen warn that dead bodies will continue to be transformed into the flesh-eating ghouls. All persons who die during this crisis, from whatever cause, will come back to life to seek human victims unless their bodies are first disposed of by cremation. Our news cameras have just returned from covering such a search and destroy operation against the ghouls, this one conducted by Sheriff Conan McClellan in Butler County, Pennsylvania. So now let's go to that film report. All law enforcement agencies and the military have been organized to search out and destroy the marauding ghouls. The Survival Command Center at the Pentagon has disclosed that a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull. Officials
That's
are
the
quoted as
pyrotechnics guy that always had the
brain
lit
of a ghoul
cigar.
has been activated by the radiation. The plan is kill the brain and you kill the ghoul.
Anything from the supply wagon, Gus?
No, we're all right.
All this guy's dialogue's
Put that
improv.
thing all the way in the fire. We don't want it getting up again. All right, I got you.
Chief McClellan, how's everything going?
Oh, things aren't going too bad. Men are taking it pretty good. You want to get on the other side of the road over there?
Chief, do you think we'll be able to defeat these things?
Well, we killed 19 of them today right in this area. Those last 3 we caught trying to claw their way into an abandoned shed. They must have thought somebody was in there. There wasn't, though. We heard them making all kind of noise. We came over and beat them off, blasted them down.
Chief, as soon as you're finished, can I see you here?
Beat them
Yeah,
all.
okay.
Chief, if I were surrounded
okay.
by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot them in the head. That's a sure way to kill them. If you don't, get yourself a club or a torch. Beat them or burn them. They go up pretty easy.
Well, Chief McClellan, how long do you think it will take you until you get the situation under control?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. We don't know how many of them there are. We know when we find them, we can kill them.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, at the time, would you
That's
say you ought to
the
be able to wrap this up in
one of the
24
most
hours?
iconic lines.
Well,
and clearly improv.
we don't really know. We know we'll be into it most of the night, probably into the early morning. We're working our way toward Willard, and we'll team up with the National Guard over there, and then we'll be able to give
And
them
the
more
guy playing the
definite
chief
view.
was the
Thank
production
you very
manager.
much, Chief McClellan. This is Bill Cardill, WIC.
And Bill
TV
Cardill
11
was a real TV
Thank you, Bill,
reporter
for
and
that
also
report.
the local horror movie host.
Official spokesman
Chilly Billy.
speculate just how long it
And
may
he
take to
promoted the
kill
movie
off
while they
all
were
flesh
filming
eaters.
it. Said, hey, there's
So
some
long as
local
the heavy
Is the fuse box in the cellar?
I don't know.
Drunk Review? I
Isn't the fuse?
don't have them picked out yet. It's
power
gonna be a
lines are down.
surprise. I have not made it yet.
Helen,
Sometimes I make them ahead of time.
I have to
Sometimes
get that gun.
it's on the fly, so I don't know
Haven't
what
you
the
had
Saturday
enough?
night shockers are
Look,
yet.
2 people are dead already on account of that guy.
Maybe this
Take a look
movie
out that
again,
window,
just because
Cricket.
it's so good, and you don't have to hear me yapping the whole time. Yeah, just watching it straight up. Oh, thank you, Drunk Review. I will send you a message on Instagram. I will let you know. I will be making it early. So I'll keep you posted. They're adapting. They're evolving. They're using tools. They're learning. There it is. There's all the power in the room right now.
Now I'm the king of the upstairs.
He's gonna do it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to stay up here now?
He's so Costanza.
Get in the cellar now. Move!
Yeah, they really should have done an episode of Seinfeld with the zombies.
You know Kramer would have been living in
The zombies like wouldn't eat Kramer.
No,
or
he
something.
would be
He'd just
exploiting
hanging out
it
with-
somehow.
Yeah, he'd just be walking around, being worked around.
So this is one of my favorite things about this movie is coming up. Barbara. She starts to kind of snap out of her catatonia. Come on, get away! There he is. Barbara finally, there she goes. Get it, Barbara! She just throws herself into it, man. Oh. And the lighting.
Oh, baby. Baby.
Clever ghoul.
This is this movie's shower scene. Bosco. Barbara's fighting, dude. That's what I love. Like she doesn't. You say what you will in the middle of the movie, but she does redeem herself. She has an arc. This is the worst part of her arc. That's how she goes out, bro.
Sucks.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Oh, there he is, the fucking main man.
Things are falling apart pretty quick.
And look, he apparently didn't know she was gonna sneak up out of the basement. Just keep piling in, man. Trying to get that flesh. It's not enough to go around. You're pumping in some extra shots.
For good measure.
Fuck you, dude. She only needed one. That's all you can do down there, right? Point the gun at the door and wait.
Getting distracted.
The local radio station helicopter pilot volunteered.
They really
KQV.
crowdsourced this movie.
And the cops, man. You're about to see like real cops running through here with dogs, which a lot of the people have said this imagery is very similar to like what you would see, unfortunately, this time with the lynch mobs and like, just stuff in the South with rural people going around, kind of, you know, sheriffs with dogs, posses, just harassing people. Like, you know, there's some evocative elements to it for some people. Apparently they borrowed that car from a dealership, painted on it, and then couldn't get the paint off. Dealership was pissed.
Hey, Vince, Al, you want to get about 4 or 5 men and a couple dogs? There's a house over here behind those trees. We want to go check it out.
Right.
You stay here, Bill.
Yeah, Chief, we're going to stay with it till we meet up with the National Guard.
Where'd you get the coffee?
One of the volunteers. You're doing all the work. You take it.
Thank you. We should be wrapped up here about 3 or 4 more hours. We'll probably get into Willard Den. I guess you can go over there and meet the National Guard. Nick, you and the rest of these men want to come with me?
Well, Bill, I'm going to check in the office, see what's happening.
All right, Steve. Tell them we're going to stay with it, and everything appears to be under control.
So his daughter actually starred in Day of the Dead. Funny enough. I don't know if Romero was just doing his friend a favor or what, but she's okay. She's clearly not like a, you know, not an A-list actress, but she does all right.
They need you down there by the barn. Some of these guys can follow the wagon down. I only need a few men to check out the house.
Might have been that car that they painted on.
Somebody had a cookout here, Vince.
Yeah, sure looks like it, Cal.
So Vince, that guy right there in the white coat, he's the guy that was their fix-it guy that was built the fireplace, built the wall, like all that stuff.
He's the dead one. Get up here. Nick, Tony, Steve, you want to get out in that field and build me a bonfire?
Sears, I got a fun Drew Barrymore fact.
Drag that out of here and throw it on the fire.
Nothing down here.
All right, go ahead down and give him a hand. Let's go check out the house, man.
There's something there. I heard a noise.
All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
Send the wagon through directly out over.
Something about doing this all in stills over the credits that is, because you're still seeing part of the movie. It's still happening. Like you're seeing they're putting hooks in his dead corpse to go throw him on the bonfire. But they're not showing you film. They're just this montage. So I saw a documentary. Somebody said this was the most business-like part of the whole film. But it's just so cold and so detached They just wouldn't even show you, you know, how this plays out. It's just.
Man, I kind of forgot how this ended, to be honest. I don't really remember all the meat hooks over the credits.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't even. It was not until later when I like actually sat watching all of it, noticed that there was basically you were seeing what happened after being shot. Like, I did not realize. But yeah, they show you the. And then he, oh, and look, and the cemetery pool got his too. So.
Hey, Randy, light these torches over here. People in the back, way in the back.
And that was Night of the Living Dead. What did we think, Evan?
What a film. That's
So you forgot about the ending, huh?
I did, yeah, actually, like, I kind of forgot, like, that, I mean, everybody just...
That it is just like such a horrible, it's a tragedy, right? There's no good, there's nothing, no hero.
Almost makes it out, doesn't.
Right. Even the posse coming in at the end, really, they're not even, you know, technically not good guys. Like, who are these guys just going out there gleefully shooting all
indiscriminately
these dead corpses, right? Yeah, I mean, it is really, when you take it all in, there's so much at play. Like, between the cinematography, the story, some of the performances, the effects, there's just so many elements that make this movie iconic. And it's you see how it's the sum equals so much more than what we get out of some of the other public domain regional horror films that we see on the show.
Yeah. These the ending, we don't really get a lot of endings that are
bleak.
Just so bleak.
No.
But there is kind of like a message to it. There is like a kind of a poignant layer, which again, I'm going back to I Am Legend. Yeah, kind of the same thing. Yeah, he doesn't make it. But.
That's true. I forgot that is kind of a downer ending. Yeah. And I mean, I think Romero definitely always saw like power in that. But they also, I think everybody agreed that was the most natural ending. Like even Dwayne said, because at a certain point, maybe some people said maybe we should change this ending, and Dwayne said, "No, this is how it should go." Like black audiences, when I get shot, they'll be like, "Oh shit, yeah, like of course. Yeah, like
of course that would happen."
Yeah, and I mean, and that's, you know, it's a testament to like everything that. You know, again, they didn't even think they were going to finish this movie. Like, they started it in July of 1967. They finished principal in November. And then January of 1968, they were doing some pickups. They finished editing in April. And immediately, the day they finished editing, drove up to New York to just see if they could show it anywhere, get somebody to buy it. And Romero and the producer Russ Streiner, and they were driving up on April 4th, 1968, and on the drive, on the radio, they found out about the death of Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, wow.
And they, you know, obviously realized the gravity of the moment, and I don't think they really connected it to what it could mean for like the connotations of their film, but like, would they have made the same choices after something like that? I don't know. It was one of those things where just that kind of and there were more, you know, I think it was after that Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. So, you know, the volatile nature of U.S. politics at the time didn't get any better after Night of the Living Dead. So in a sense, Night of the Living Dead kind of just predicted that things were just going to continue to kind of degrade. And it was not well received when it came out. A lot of critics were mad.
Really?
And well, part of the problem was that, we've talked about the Hays Code, the production code on the show, back in the old Hollywood days when they were trying to clean it up. And around the early to mid 60s was when the code stopped being enforced. But there was a little bit of time until the rating system came into effect. So what you had was local censorship boards that would decide if something was appropriate. I don't think a lot of these boards actually watched the movies.
Okay.
And so
how did they rate this one?
Approved for any audiences. It wasn't like children under the age of 15 should not see this. Because the thing is, at this time, horror was really considered, the primary audience for horror movies was adolescents and children. Because they would have afternoon, they had midnight screenings, but they'd have afternoon screenings for children to go to. And parents would just drop their kids off. So when Night of the Living Dead got put into theaters, a lot of people thought, oh, this is like a Roger Corman AIP. It's kind of silly horror film.
Nope.
Not going to be serious. Well, and with the distribution, so, they, like I said, they went to New York. They went to like Columbia Pictures, like big studio. And Columbia was like genuinely interested, but because it was in black and white, they ultimately said, nah, color, everything's in color. Why would you do this? And they even at one point in filming thought about switching to 16 millimeter color. They were filming in 35 black and white, and they realized, this is the higher stock 35. Let's not change. And that was probably the black and white photography. I mean, again, that, like I said, that German expressionism, chiaroscuro.
Yeah, it helps preserve it, I think.
I think so. But I mean, that was just not like a style, and the violence, everything. And so then American International Pictures, a studio that did all the Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe movies, they were going to release it, but they said, you got to change the ending. And I think Romero and crew said, we're not doing that.
We're not changing the ending.
And so they went to this lower end distribution company that ended up fucking up the copyright situation. So it was one of those things, though, where they did consider like changing the ending. Like they thought about all these things and ultimately decided not to. And then when they put it out, it was literally like a month before the production code went into enforcement. And so there's a very famous anecdote about the film critic Roger Ebert going to one of these matinee screenings where all these children had been dropped off. And so he doesn't even review the movie. He like summarizes the movie and then it's just like, I saw kids that were traumatized and just saw all this horrible stuff happen, and there was no relief, and there were no parents. And I just don't understand. He was horrified, but then later, like, he kind of like added a little addendum to that review. Like, it's on his website. It's like, I actually really appreciate this film, and if I was going to rate it now, I'd give it 3.5 stars. Not even 5 bags of popcorn. He was gonna give it 3.5 stars, which he only gives 4 stars, so 3.5 is pretty good. But yeah, his review was just one of a series of reviewers that were just kind of like, can't believe this is being marketed as a horror movie when this is the most extreme violence we've ever seen. And it just kind of opened the floodgates. And a lot more extreme stuff, I mean, we know, got released after Night of the Living Dead. But this opened a lot of doors, changed a lot of things, and I mean, I think we saw tonight why it's...
I mean, yeah, this is I'm pretty sure the only movie we've seen on this program where we've watched somebody eat a bug, eat a liver, eat some entrails.
Meat off the bones. Yeah, the entrails. Woof. I was one of the crazy.
If you had to be one of those ghouls, what could you stomach?
Meat off the bone.
Meat off the bone.
Meat off the bone. I'd
Okay.
be all right with. I think.
I feel like I could maybe choke down a bite of liver. I don't know.
Not for me. Couldn't do the liver. But I mean, that's the thing. Even though initially the
If it had
critics.
Bosco on it.
Oh well, that's what did we learn from this movie? Put Bosco on everything. It makes it delicious. I mean, this was really a game changer, and when critics in Europe started acclaiming it, that was when critics in America started saying, "Oh, this is an art film. This is important. This is a scary film. This is amazing." And the tide turned, and it's in the National Film Registry, and it played at it's in the collection of the Museum of Modern Art. I mean,
so as soon as they stopped traumatizing children with it, they realized, oh, this is actually
a pretty solid movie. And they did remake it in 1990. Like Romero produced it, and the same people produced it and were involved in it because they were trying to see if they could reclaim some kind of copyright or get some kind of. So that's like Tony Todd, who played Candyman. He plays the Ben role. Tom Savini, who's like a makeup wizard who did all the Romero's zombie movies after this. The makeup for he directed it, but it didn't do very well. The co-writer of this tried to do an expanded 30th anniversary edition of Night of the Living Dead where he filmed new scenes in the 90s and brought the Cemetery Ghoul actor back to film more backstory for his character. And I think that was also done to try to reclaim some copyright. It's really bad. And it filmed it in black and white and cut it into the movie. They released the movie, but they shot this footage in the 90s and tried to cut it in and add it to the movie. And George Romero was not associated with it. It was the co-writer. Again, they all had rights to it. They could do stuff. So that was what Russo did, and it's not very good. You can just find it's 15 extra minutes. You can go find them all on YouTube if you're interested. And then again, that movie Flesh Eater, if you want to see more of the Cemetery Ghoul, there's a whole movie with the Cemetery Ghoul, but it's very crude. So the beauty of Night of the Living Dead is it spawned this whole universe of knockoffs, remakes, and just zombie movies that were simply inspired by it. So
do you think Coffin Flop by Osa?
I think
one out of every 5 of them are nude.
Just right. I mean, who would have guessed? When you see the nude walking through, you're like, oh, maybe they have something. A lot of people probably do die in the nude. Huh? Who would have thought? Yeah, I mean, this really. And again, I think I pretty much got all my facts. I don't have really anything. So that was good. That was really awesome. And we're 3:12. So, hey, we are not pushing 4 hours. So that was the worry. So we did pretty good tonight. And I guess we've got to figure out this
we've
giveaway.
Got a winner to.
Okay, hold on.
I was gonna say pick, but we're not picking.
No, I think I just click a button that says pick winner. Let's see how I gotta close the entries. So if you want, chance. The last chance. If you want a T-shirt, you have to put. Hold on, it's in the chat. This fucking thing keeps, what is it? Exclamation point raffle to enter. So if you haven't entered yet, let's get an exclamation point raffle because I'm about to close the entries. So I'm going to give you, we'll give them 10 seconds, Evan. Well, let's give them 5 seconds from now and then you'll count down from 10, but there's a delay. So we'll give them some time. So
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wait, does anybody else want to put one in? we're gonna give you. We want to actually Evan put the. We got one. Sears put one in, I think. Right? Okay, so we'll take that. Okay, so I'm gonna close it. Get any more? Oh, you're seeing them, right? Evan?
I'm seeing them.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna close it. All right. Let's pick a winner. How do I do that? It's not. It's giving me the red circle over the thing for pick winner. You don't have any entries.
What?
I certainly do have some entries. Huh. I don't know. Well, look, it didn't work.
Oh, no.
Well.
What kind of scam raffle
let's
are
see.
you
Hold on, I
running here?
resumed. Yeah, what kind of scam raffle? That's a great question. I don't know, honestly. Pick winner. It's not gonna let me do
Do
it.
we need to draw out of a hat?
I might have to draw out of that and tell you guys later because, and I'll just go back and watch, and whoever commented hashtag, why do I keep saying hashtag? Exclamation point, whatever. I'll figure it out. God dang it. Yes. Yeah, Alana, we may have to go with that. I don't know. I couldn't pick that, but I told Alana, I said it could go, it may not. I don't know how it's gonna work out.
It wouldn't be the Scream stream without technical difficulties.
It really
is. Factula entered? He just said raffle.
Yeah, I know, he keeps saying that, and it's really annoying because I'm on the YouTube thing, and I don't know. So I'll have to investigate, but I'll reveal the results of the raffle. Either I'll post it on the social page. I won't wait until next Friday because we do have we won't be live until next Friday, which we're gonna be getting into our second film of season 13. And Evan, what do we normally do for our second film of any season?
Uh-oh, it looks like we've got a silent film incoming.
We do. You know what else we're going to be doing?
What?
We're going to be finishing off this box.
Oh, okay.
Because we watched 4 of the 5 films after
it's jumping out at me.
Do you know what it is? Oh, so you do.
Uh-huh.
So next week, we will be watching Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 1920. So that should be.
Thanks, Greg.
That was my best Greg Turkington impression. So no, like, and I watched all those movies in that box set when I bought it, and didn't finish Night of the Living Dead for a while. But Night of the Living Dead mode. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was
Night of the Living Jekyll.
Night of the Living Jekyll. It was really I was familiar with the story already at that age because it was like my dad would read to us at night, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was one of the books that he read to us, and it was like we loved it, and so I was very interested to see a film. Well, if you haven't seen the 31 adaptation, which hey, we'll be able to show it. 2 years. The 31 adaptation, the actor playing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde won an Oscar for. So it goes to show you how wild that movie is, and I just saw it on TV the other day. So I'll talk more about that next week. But this is before that. But it's a very famous adaptation of the story because it stars John Barrymore who as Dr. Jekyll, and he was one of the premier actors of this time. He's the grandfather of Drew Barrymore, who I think Sears, somebody was talking about Firestarter earlier, the Firestarter, Drew Barrymore. And yeah, her grandfather will be starring in our film next week. And so that'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can catch Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and should be fun. Again, like it's an acclaimed film. It's silent. I know those films have their people prefer them, people don't, but we'll have fun with it like we always do. But yeah, so that'll be next week. Of course, Saturday Night Shocker tomorrow. Haven't quite figured it out. Drunk Review, I'll let you know. And speaking of Drunk Review, I think they'll be live tonight. So if you're still up after this, trying to find something to watch, go check out what's going on over there at the drive-in. And of course, just throughout the weekend, they'll have stuff going on. And then yeah, we'll be back next week. So yeah, pretty good season 13 premiere. Pretty solid movie to kick this one.
We're batting 1,000 so far.
I think so. I mean, again, this movie, and now that I know I can show it on YouTube without any problems, I would just run it for 24 hours. You can learn a lot.
Just as a little happy birthday to me.
A little happy birthday to me. The day after my birthday. No, this movie, God, you don't know how much it scared me. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't think that was
you wouldn't catch Garrett in a graveyard.
Till I was 13 or 14. Like, this movie, I couldn't sit down and watch it all the way through. Probably made it as far as the truck exploding and the meat and the intestines being eaten.
What was the most scary to you as a kid? Was it graveyards, the dark, basements, or just the idea that suddenly a monster is gonna appear?
I think it was that. Okay. That just suddenly some monster, some crazy wild thing could just... Because I had dreams, you know, where it just... Something wild just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And those are the best horror movies, where just something completely wild. And the beauty of this movie is that you get hints. And that's when a movie does it well, where you get hints, but even still it feels like you're blindsided. Like, you had that bit in the beginning of this movie with the radio being futzed with, and you know, we're just coming back after being, you know, and it's like, what's that about? So, you know, it does a great job of piquing your interest. And I mean, again, there's just, I could do a whole other stream about all the great things about this movie that I didn't feel like I got to touch on tonight. Oh, the last fact.
One more thing.
One more thing. All these industrial filmmakers, but George Romero, the director, guess which famous Pennsylvania resident they got their start under?
Mr. Hershey.
When you said Mr., I said, oh my God, he's almost got it. You know who it is?
No, who?
Mr. Rogers. Because he was based out of Pennsylvania, and a lot of people got their start doing things for Mr. Rogers. So George Romero, before he did this film, did a short film for Mr. Rogers that played on his show called Mr. Rogers Gets a Tonsillectomy. And Romero jokingly said it was the scariest thing I ever did. That was the fun thing that I couldn't leave here tonight without telling you that a lot of these people got their start with Mr. Rogers.
Wow.
And apparently there was someone from his show that wanted to audition for the movie, and he said absolutely not. I don't know if that was true, I thought that was also interesting. So couldn't leave here without the Mr. Rogers connection. You gotta love it. Well, I love Mr. Rogers. Grew up on Mr. Rogers. So Sears, yep, love Mr. Rogers. So on that note, anything before we sign off tonight, Evan?
Well, I'm really looking forward to the connection of next week's movie, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Rogers.
Oh, okay. Could you imagine the evil version of the Mr. Hyde version of Mr. Rogers with that one?
Well, wouldn't it just imply that he's just turning into a nicer version of himself? He's not turning into a...
Well, yeah, that would.
He's not.
But I'm saying imagine an evil Mr. Rogers.
Okay,
Jeez,
yeah. A Mr. Rogers and Mr.
Nodgers. I don't know. He would wear a black cardigan.
Ooh.
Because, Mr. Rogers usually wore red ones, so you couldn't. Even though red is sometimes a color you'd want to associate with evil. I think Mr. Rogers made it look good. He made it look good. So, but that's a discourse for next week.
Well, happy 13th, everybody.
Happy 13th season. Really appreciate everybody watching tonight. Kathy, Alana, Sears. Oh my gosh, we've had so many more.
Yeah.
Thomas. Did I already say Alana? Alana again. I'm scrolling through here to see. I know we had Ty and William and Thomas. I think I already said that. But everybody that tuned in tonight, really, really, again, appreciate everybody's support. I will get the raffle giveaway figured out and get those results to you ASAP. Or we'll just do another one next week. We'll just redo it and I'll have it figured out next time. We'll see. Either way, someone will be getting a shirt. But until next week, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, good fright.
Ew.